Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Raiola, that is hit in the air deep to right center field. This has got legs, and she's gone. That's a leadoff homer for Jesus Sanchez.
Another line drive. That one down the right field line. All the way to the wall. Narvaez churning around third. He's being waved in. He's going to score. Into third base, standing up with another triple. Jaron Duran to go with his double in the first inning. And the Sox are on top 3-0.
That's a shot. Back into left. McCormick on the run over its head. Gonna bound off the wall. This will tie the game. Yandy scores, and Caballero hit it second with a double. Gets a 3-3 ball game.
Keith lifts that ball toward left. Nootbaar retreats into the corner, up against the wall, and he came up with it. What a grab by Nootbaar.
Get out.
That ball hit to right. The ball's been carrying there all night. Let's go!
Do it.
Jake Myers, number 3 on the year. First batter to face Manuel Rodriguez. Hits one out to give the Astros a 4-3 lead.
Good morning. Welcome into Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. What's up, DB?
What's going on?
Not a lot. Just hanging out.
Yeah.
You know, nothing too crazy. Just having some off-air conversations about Juan Soto, apparently.
Yeah, it's so a lot's happened.
Yeah. A lot going on.
I learned about phone calls.
Yeah.
I feel enlightened.
No, yeah, you asked a fair question.
It was legit.
Yeah.
There's a particular store, you guys and gals, that I like to frequent. It's a little hole in the wall. And it has some young Ravians that is that cool?
What's that mean?
That run the store.
Some people who may share a country of origin.
Correct.
Okay.
And I was just joking that they really just started being the two guys really just started being friendly with me a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. And you go early in the morning.
Yeah, but I've been rocking with this place for like probably 8 months because I couldn't keep going to my other little spot because it got to be too chummy.
A little too popular.
It's a little too chummy.
Oh, okay.
And now there's 3 of those. There's one gal and 2 guys, and one's an ex-con, and he's hilarious, and he keeps me in there too long. So it defeats the purpose of running in. But
so you want him to talk to you, but not like
he does give me the key to the ice chest, though.
Okay.
So
nice.
I'm cool because I don't have to wait on those guys. Because if there's other people in the store, it's like, hey man, you gotta wait. Come on, man. I just want to go get the ice. You have 65 things of water out there that anybody could walk off with, but you lock the ice chest.
That's right.
Seems kind of weird. But anyway, so I moseyed on into this other little place and. Weird, you're gonna be shocked. It was the lure of chicken that got me to walk in there. That's not for you to laugh at. I'm telling a story here. All right, we're in the tree of trust. I need you to just simmer down over there, little dude. They're part of the reason you got your gummy bears. So they never talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd make a couple of jokes. I'm like, why do you guys have more liquor than Gatorade? Or, like I would just make jokes.
Yeah.
I did spill in there once.
Oh, okay.
Hold my Gatorade. Well, they didn't put the flavor, they didn't put the colors on the right shelf. So I had to dig behind, and then you have to kind of slide it back in because the things in the fridge clamp down on the bottles.
Yeah.
So to get it back in is kind of tricky for your boy.
Yeah.
So that thing said, and I was like, oh, he said, I'm not going to do the
yeah, don't do the voice. It's too early to do the voice.
So anyway.
I can do the voice. You can't do the voice.
Cool. I said something about Zoe last night, and yeah, never mind. And I pulled that. I can say it.
You
can't. So he just started talking to me.
Yeah.
But they're always on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, who are you talking to every I'm so insecure. I think they just get on the phone. You know how I could fake talk, right?
Just be like, oh, hey, what's up?
And a couple times I've been busted because my ringer's on.
Yeah, and then you just pull it. You're like, oh, hey, what's up? I got the phone.
There's a store that I grocery shop at now that has.
You about to pull one of those today? I bet.
That has become very. They know now.
Yeah.
And it's mostly older people. So I'm exceptionally nice, but I'm in there quite a long time. So I do the phone thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you ever used a shopping cart and But I'm not a big AirPod in public guy.
Yeah.
For some reason, it drives me crazy, even though I don't want to hear your conversation. So I need to negotiate that.
You're like, do I want to hear you or not?
But you told me, I used to think it was me. Like, oh, man, here comes this brother in here.
Yeah.
This dude's always trying to make small talk. Let me just pretend to be on the phone. They give me the finger, like, hold on.
Just 1 second.
I'm like, man, what are they always talking to in the morning? And you finally.
Yeah, it's probably family back in India.
Because of the time zone difference.
Yeah, my dad used to all the time. He would, because I think it's like 12, 13 hours, depending on when we're at with daylight and everything.
Yeah.
My dad used to call his family back in India in early mornings all the time. So like about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning is about right.
So I did him a solid.
Yeah.
No, so he told me to take advantage of
the gummy bears
because he felt like they were marked wrong. And you normally do. Hey, those are probably marked down wrong. I'd take advantage of those. I was like, hey, I got a friend who eats those with his sandwiches. He didn't get it.
Doesn't listen to the show.
I'll take it.
But this ding dong did say he eats sandwiches and gummy bears.
Yeah. He was very specific. They're not in the sandwich.
So that's why you have a giant bag of gummy bears, Shane, and I got that with seat cushion money.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's a wild berry. I haven't seen that flavor before, so.
Oh, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Maybe nobody buys them, so they were marked down.
Oh, that's fine.
So I did a phone call myself this morning.
Yeah.
I called my man Jace.
Be like, hey, what's up?
But he had to walk me through the cut sheet again. Can you imagine talking to me at 6:45 in the morning over pigs?
I mean, I talked to you at 7 o'clock in the morning about pigs yesterday, so it's not that much different.
Jace is very smart.
Why'd you have to talk to him about the cut sheet again?
Oh, I had questions.
You have the pig, right?
Yeah.
So what are your questions?
So now I'm to the point where I want to know how to do it the next time to maximize. And he told me something today I can't believe. He said, sometimes we put down a whole pig and people say, all I want is sausage.
That's a lot of sausage.
I'm tempted. Except
I know you love breakfast sausage. That's like your one. It's like
I told him, I'm like, I know I just got this Saturday, but by myself. Because Caleb didn't get there until yesterday.
I was like, how much of the breakfast sausage you gone through?
So I remember I did a couple ways. I got the pounders that I can grind, and then they have the pre-mades.
Yeah,
because if he's gonna be home, I don't really
easier to.
Yeah, but they're not cooked, so he just has to cook them. But they're already pre-packed.
Yeah.
They come in a package of 8 vacuum sealed. I've had 16.
That's aggressive.
16.
It's a lot of breakfast.
So
sausage.
full disclosure.
Yeah.
What did I ask you on Saturday or Sunday? What's the question I asked you?
Sunday.
And Natasha gave the patented Natasha answer.
Yeah,
that's a great question.
You go, okay. Ask the professional chef.
I said, Here, I'm gonna replay this. Yeah. I know this is a sports show, but this is why you guys think you know me so well, because I just spell business.
You just read your text messages live on the air.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't.
Yeah, you asked me about texture versus.
I said,
flavor.
hey, ask Natasha as a chef, if somebody was going to have a complaint, would she want to be more responsible for the flavor or the texture?
Yeah.
Her response was, chefs shouldn't be such little bitches. Any good chef can handle criticism on anything. Flavor, temp, salt, texture, plate up.
Yeah.
So I thought about that for a second, and I'm like, I'm not going to respond. Then I text you back, and I'm like, is there more a Natasha response than that one? Here's the problem. I was the chef.
That's kind of what I thought might be the case. And so that's part of the reason her answer was so funny.
I'm like, I'm not a little bitch. But I say all that to say I've now learned how to cook the patties because they're thin. But I cooked the first one
faster.
Yeah, and I screwed up the texture, but the flavor was incredible.
Yeah.
So I'm like, shoot, I got this. I'm just gonna go super high heat, sear these bad boys. Yep, and I ate the next day.
How were they?
The fire.
Yeah.
Oh, they made these little packages of shaved ham. I ate the whole pack.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, it's gonna be a problem.
So I think
but I have knucklehead here now. So
yeah.
I was at the grocery store yesterday, and I was like, Rotella's is across the street from me. I'm like, hey, I know we don't keep a lot of bread in the house, man. What's easier for you to have what's easier for you?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, man, just go with hamburger buns. It's versatile for breakfast sausage or for breakfast sandwiches and regular sandwiches. Because he made sandwiches yesterday, and he used like 6 Hawaiian rolls. I'm like, this is going to go fast.
I was going to say, that's pretty aggressive.
But we don't have bread.
Yeah.
But we do now.
We got to stay stocked up.
We got 16 hamburger buns, which will probably be gone by Thursday. But anyway, so shout out to Jace for answering the phone. I wouldn't have answered my call, to be honest.
At that point, if it wasn't...
I mean, what do I want other than to talk meat?
Yeah, if I'm him, I'm probably like, man, I can get this back later.
That sounds a lot like what you do.
I mean, so wait, first of all, I almost always answer when you call.
It's true.
The percentage is unbelievably high.
No, you get points.
But if I'm him in that situation, and
Ravi, you are him.
We don't really know each other that well.
You are him.
Because you don't know Jace real well, right?
He's a lot nicer to me than you are.
But if I'm like, okay, there's this random guy, he got a pig 2 days ago.
Now I'm a random.
I mean, to Jace, you probably you're kind of a random, right? You don't know each other.
Oh, I mean, I know of him. I used to watch him in high school.
I'm just saying,
it's fine.
In that situation,
you're the anti-lady that was checking me out at the grocery store yesterday. I said, if I'm ever feeling bad about myself, I'm gonna stop going to self-checkout and come see you.
Yeah.
And she said, "You come anytime, dear." I said, "Oh, I feel bad." Why is that funny?
She's over 65, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, if I told you her name, it's like she may be over 105.
Gertrude?
It's
in the neighborhood?
It's very generational like that. Yes.
Pearl?
No comment.
Got in that realm, in that neighborhood?
No comment.
All right. Got a Betty?
Yeah, you're just the opposite.
No.
The minute I'm riding on my wave, you're gonna knock me off my board.
No, I'm so nice to you.
But I do have a question though.
Yeah, what's that?
I think this is legit.
Okay.
It may be a little early.
All right, what do we got?
And you watched them last night, I assume, because they beat them 3-1.
Yeah.
If you're the New York Metropolitans, at what point are you concerned about Juan Soto? Even though he can be a slow starter.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting to the point where I don't know if it's a start anymore. I mean, we're what?
A month and a half in.
Almost 2 months in at this point. We've got 50 games, a little more than that, into the season. So, yeah, I don't know if you're looking at it and you go, hey, he's a slow starter, we're okay. If you're looking at it and you go, hey, how much should we pay this guy?
$250 million.
For
$750 million.
I would say $750 million, right? And for how many?
My math ain't mathing.
For how many years? Oh, we got 14 and a half left on this bad boy.
Yeah, you know how many home runs Juan Soto has?
It's not double digits yet.
He has 2 more than Javi Baez.
4, 6, 8, 12.
8. Coach McGuire has 8.
Maybe he needs to ask Javi Baez about his health regimen.
He's hitting 246 currently.
That's not great. That's probably not what you're looking for out of a $750 million player.
No, and he is not hitting for bags. He does have 37 walks, though. That's
nice. That's something.
Well, the problem is he's got 33 strikeouts,
which is not ideal.
It's kind of un-Soto-esque.
Yeah. He's
$750 million.
He's what, about 150 OPS light from his career?
Yep.
It's not
light, yeah.
That's not great. That's not what you're looking for there. That means you're not getting power or on base enough.
You know what else I figured out?
What's that?
Over the last 2 days. And I get it. I mean, who would want to listen to us? But didn't we go through the complexities of the Big Ten baseball conference schedule like a week ago?
Oh, the tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mess.
I think people are just now starting to figure out.
It's a mess.
Like the last 2 days, I'm like, I get it. It's current. But, man, you guys had plenty of time to study because it's a debacle.
Because who did I ask? Was it Schaaf? Or no, it was Bruns.
Well, no, it was Schaaf first because I asked him, did he spend more time trying to figure out blank or the tournament format on why you would play meaningless games.
Yeah, and then I asked Brunts, like, why did they do this, basically? Like, what advantage did they think this had?
Remember my joke about not knowing when your team is going to play?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't kidding.
No, that's a real thing. You know when they're going to play today, and that's about it.
I mean.
Right? Like, it's a mess.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I know Brunts gave me an answer, and let's say, like, well, some other people do it. I was like, that doesn't mean it's a good idea.
I mean, kind of. We've seen the pods.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen kind of the
pool play.
The pool play.
Yeah.
But usually it's single, not double.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense.
And you are running the risk now of playing a lot of meaningless games.
Like a lot of meaningless games.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, you could be like the team that Zoe's team was going to play last night. We were supposed to be at the field at 5:20.
Mm-hmm.
5:18. Yeah, they're not playing. Hey, from like 1 o'clock on, I'm like, hey, can we just pull the plug?
Yeah.
Just pull the plug. It's easier, if you got multiple kids in your family.
Mm-hmm.
If you're kind of single parenting it and
and you really didn't know what the weather was going to look like.
Hey, man, just pull it.
Even if you got it started, the finishing it was probably not happening.
Yeah, your boy was not happy.
Yeah, 5:18 is a little late there.
Yeah. So,
I feel like you got to give people at least an hour.
I'm chefing it up, and this little skinny thing comes bebopping in from the minute she closed the garage door. I said, what'd you forget? She said, game's canceled. I said, man.
I feel like you got to give people an hour. Like, that's not unreasonable, right? Give them an hour.
It wasn't the league. It was the other team, so I understand. I'm not mad at them. It's just,
it's a little annoying. I mean, it's kind of annoying.
Just inconsiderate.
Yeah, it is.
Just inconsiderate.
It's like, hey, other people got stuff going on too, guys.
I feel bad for the people that lived a little further away and maybe were, like, pinned on the interstate.
Oh, yeah.
Because, travel's not great.
No.
Although 108th opened up. Shout out 108.
It's about time.
Shout out 108.
108.
By the way, why did you veer right yesterday? Why did you go towards Jay Giles' band leaving the show?
Where did I go right? You mean
towards Chipotle and?
Oh yeah, I went right because I was going to the office. So I just went down 108, took 108 all the way up to Q.
Oh, you looped around to stay on 108.
So I went down. So at the stoplight out here.
No, you went no.
Which one are you talking about?
Ding dong. The lights on the boulevard where you can go. Do you know where Chipotle is?
Yeah.
And Smash and Pickle?
Mm-hmm.
You went right. I go left.
Yeah.
I go left towards ILQ Harrison. You went right.
Well, so
really you're going away from headquarters.
Well, so I usually would take the interstate, but that's closed off right now.
So you loop around and go to 108th from Giles.
Yeah.
And then straight shot north.
Yeah. I just think it's easier.
Oh, I got a better way. Just follow me.
Okay.
Follow me. Something.
Big Uncle Cracker guy?
No, but I do like the R. Kelly line because the bathroom the other day did smell like piss.
Big R. Kelly guy?
No, I'm not. You're not.
Sure?
Don't put that on me. That's not kind.
I mean, just his music.
I do feel
Don't
like
put that crap on me.
I had to take a couple of songs off my playlist.
Yeah, you're like, this feels.
I have a little guilt.
Feels inappropriate.
A little guilt.
Although R. Kelly's back on the table now because all the royalties from his songs go to his victims' families.
Oh, I'd feel better about that.
Yeah. So I feel okay with it now.
God, you actually said something that's encouraging to me.
I'm being helpful.
I'll give it another 60 seconds.
Even Blind Squirrel.
Yes.
I need them to do that once whatever happens with Diddy happens. I need him to give the royalties to those people.
But apparently
although he doesn't have that many songs I like.
I know they're not releasing a lot to the media. It's basically the people that are in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Not a good dude.
No, some of the stuff that's come out, I'm like, oh, that's horrifying.
It is disturbing.
Yeah, it's real bad.
When shooting someone in the bathroom isn't probably the worst thing you've done.
Yeah, you're in bad shape.
I mean,
like that's some like sociopath serial killer stuff.
It's like
he's crazy.
Goodness.
Yeah, not great. Not great. Not great on the Diddy stuff.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if you know this. Not a good guy.
No. Back to Juan Soto. By the way, the Dodgers lost again.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to stand for that. I just
no.
Because when I said 98 wins.
Yeah. No, you said 93.
6, and then I went to 8 because you and Shape guilted me.
Yeah, because I thought that was pretty dumb.
Yeah. Did I say 60 seconds? I meant 51.
I think I made it 60 seconds. I don't know. Shane, how long was that?
It wasn't 60 seconds.
Okay.
Sometimes
you got to stretch it.
So however many in a row is that, 4?
Yeah, I think you lost 4 in a row, and I think the sky is falling. You should probably just sell the team.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little aggressive.
Oh, okay.
They're not very good right now.
Well, you don't have any pitchers left.
I couldn't get one batter out, so I won't even use me. But
they're in the
I would be
IL.
I would be the epitome of soft tossing.
Yeah, I gotta throw the ephus out there. Just
not quite that bad, but it'd be pretty BP.
I feel like you have.
I mean, nobody could tuck 62 on the gun like me.
But that's the thing, though. Like, if you're gonna throw between like 60 and 80, you're better off throwing like 40. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, if you're going 60 to 80, like that is a BP fastball, right? So you're better off throwing like as slow as possible. You're almost better off doing like a softball thing just to see if it messes with them a little bit.
I get shelled.
Yeah, I mean, we all would, right? Like, that's kind of how it goes. But we out here, right? That's where magic happens.
No, I'm kind of irrational. I'd like to think I can get outs.
I mean, if you get an out, it's because they hit just a laser right at somebody.
Unfortunately, it'd probably be me.
Get those reflexes up, bud.
Ain't enough in the world for what they could do. Just saying.
Oh, no, I'd give it a good. I mean, there's a number. I'd do it.
Nobody could really.
I'd go get shelled for a certain amount of money. Yeah, absolutely.
At what dollar figure would you take one off a facial structure?
Oh, not if you're saying, oh, they're definitely hitting me.
Oh.
I thought you just meant go out there and like give up however many runs. Like, yeah, I'll do that. I don't care.
Well, that's of course. I mean, there has to be some sort of.
I get there's inherent risk that one of them gets me.
Would you throw BP without a cage, without a screen?
How much are we talking here?
I'd be terrified. I probably couldn't throw a strike. I'd be like softball where I'd pitch and I'd back up to behind second base.
You're just sprinting.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean,
listen, are we talking about there's a chance I get hit or there's
always a chance you could get hit.
But are you guaranteeing I take one off the face? Like, is that what I'm getting paid for, is to take one off the face?
No, because I think hopefully hitters wouldn't hit comebackers.
Yeah. If we're just talking about the inherent risk, like, yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd have to have a comma in it. Maybe 2.
Oh, yeah, it's 7 figures for sure.
It is not optional.
Maybe 2.
My first number was $1 million. I would definitely go get shelled at the risk of getting beamed in the face for $1 million. Lower than that, like, we're going to have a longer conversation.
Are you ready for
what's to come?
The Spartans!
Well, I was doing Creed, but that's fine.
No. Are you ready for tonight? Are you nervous? Because everybody is in your camp.
Yeah,
they're not even remotely optimistic.
I'm not really nervous. I'm just kind of bummed.
No, you're not.
Like early, yeah. I would like them to be better than they are. I know you think I'm a hater. Like, I'm just a realist. They haven't been very good.
That's my favorite. You sound like the kids.
No, I'm just keeping it real.
Coach B, man, I'm not a hater, man. I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah, there's a
you
difference,
don't like
though.
anything.
I like some stuff.
Some stuff.
Yeah.
Like Miller North. We got dueling schools.
Yeah,
today.
we got in the
we got soccer finals, and you got
semifinals in baseball. Here we go. A nice little 4-0 win last night. Let's go. Roll Stangs.
It's fine.
It's Mustang country. Let's ride.
I don't mind Miller North. I don't mind any. Well, yeah, I don't really mind any high school.
No, I don't think so. Hey, you like Miller North more than a lot.
I do.
Yeah.
I like the admin.
You like the admin. You like Coach Burrell.
Yeah, he's
your guy.
He's a funny dude.
Yeah.
We chopped it up a little bit at Coach's Clinic.
BK's over there.
He was feeling very bison-y because they were well represented. His was very well represented.
Good old NDSU.
He had his little chest puffed out. Hey man, you're a track guy.
He's not a big guy.
No, he's tiny.
He's lean.
Yeah. Which is fine. You rather be that than the alternative.
But no, you got Brandon Kinney's over there.
Mm-hmm. Big BK guy.
We like BK. BK's a good dude.
Unusually nice.
Yeah, really friendly. He's really kind.
Why are you so kind?
He's got a good attitude about everything. I like it.
And the huge smile.
Yeah.
But hey, kids, don't go play for those guys.
You should definitely
Just kidding.
Go play for Miller North. Go to Miller North.
You're terrible.
It's a great school.
You're terrible.
IB program.
Selfish.
Well, do I need to do a little commercial here? They got an IB program. They got great coaches. Good people over there.
Ravi here for.
They're in state semifinals for baseball. They made state in soccer. I mean, listen, it's a good place to go.
That's your story. You're sticking to it. You're so shameful.
They redesigned the whole building so it doesn't look like a prison anymore. That's a plus. It was a little prison-y when I went there.
It was tough.
You know, had a little factory vibes to it.
I'm going to have to tell Miss Behringer and see, hey, listen,
No.
guy's over here being a little reckless while he's rocking the gear. He should take any nice things that they've given you to take it back.
Why?
To take it back.
I'm being nice. I'm making a pitch here. I'm saying it used to look a little prison-y. It doesn't anymore. They fixed it.
Yeah.
Good on you.
Court was in session.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Verdict is in. A little mile in prison.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I don't listen. It's fine. You can do your thing over there, but you're not.
Hey, I'm just happy. I got some gummy bears.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Do you?
Yeah.
I enjoy the fact that you said the word appreciate. That's very nice.
I will be getting sandwiches here either today or tomorrow, so I can partake in my gummy bears.
It's the strangest combination ever.
It's odd.
Do you know what I used to think? Shane, as I've gotten older, my love language has changed.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be one of those guys like, yeah, I don't need words of affirmation. I'm going to do me, man. You don't have to appreciate me.
Is that what you sounded like when you were younger?
No, occasionally you should probably say thank you. I appreciate you. I think words of affirmation
No, they're important.
have crept into my top two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I thought about
What would you guess them to be since we're
I would have guessed words of affirmation as one. And then you're a big like physical touch guy. You give people like the dap ups and the hugs, and you're like, give me a love touch.
That has been replaced.
Okay.
By words of affirmation.
Okay.
What's the other one?
You don't really seem like a gifts guy.
This is why I struggle with relationships.
Yeah.
What's number one?
Quality time?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I could see that.
Yeah. That's why we're batting 0.
Well, time's hard to come by when you got stuff going on.
Big high five. Did you used to listen to High Five? Did you couple skate as a kid?
No.
They sing a song called Quality Time.
I don't know. High Five.
One of the kind of the knockoff black bubblegum bands, little boy bands.
Like a little Boys to Many?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they were fine.
A little All for One?
Greater than All for One, probably.
Really?
Well, All for One wasn't like New Kids or anybody.
No,
What do you mean, really?
They had some hits.
Had a couple.
I swear. That was a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, that was probably their biggest one.
I wonder who sold more records.
High Five or All for One?
Yeah.
Let's look it up.
No.
I'm going to look it up.
You're terrible with Googling.
Well, I know. That's what you're here for, to talk while I Google through things.
Shane, I do have one question, though. I don't like to knock you because you get defensive, but why the gummy bear sandwich combo? Like, were you out of chips one day and you're like, these gummy bears are a little stale, man. I need some crunch.
No, but if I go to the gas station, there's not a lot of options there. And so just kind of going through the rows.
Do you remember what the original question was?
So gummy bears is just so.
I don't know. I don't know if I could be amazing today.
You don't know why you like gummy bears?
Oh, gummy bears
With
are
your
awesome.
I love gummy bears. I don't think, man, this would go great.
In all honesty,
my shaved hand.
In all honesty, you were probably having a conversation about it on the air, and then I went to the gas station. And I was walking by. I was like, "Oh, gummy bears. That probably sounds like a good idea. Probably something like that."
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I don't get it, but
I don't know.
What's your go-to potato chip, or is that what you'd have with your sandwich?
Sometimes. So, like Lay's.
It's just never a real like. What's your favorite potato chip?
Just the regular Lay's.
Oh, like in the yellow bag?
Yeah.
Are you a wavy or a smooth guy?
Either or. I mean, I got to kind of rotate between the two.
Yeah, you get tired, get burned out.
Yeah, I get burned out. Sometimes I got to go with the waves.
You big Ruffles guy?
Ruffles are okay. They're not as good, but they're fine.
I prefer ridges.
Yeah.
I like a little
texture.
sturdy. I like a sturdier chip. I'm
Yeah.
going kettle cooked or.
Oh, I do like kettle chips. A little crunch to them.
I'm a little burnt out on kettle chips right now.
Although sometimes they do overdo it and they're like hard.
I miss potato chips tremendously.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like. What's your favorite? What's your go-to?
Scoops.
The Fritos?
Yes.
Ooh, Fritos are good. Underrated.
Yeah. Big Fritos scoops.
Regular or chili cheese?
I'm not a flavored chip guy.
Okay.
So I like scoops. I like
scoops are better
Ruffles.
than.
I like.
Okay.
I like
I like a barbecue chip a lot.
I like plain stacks.
Oh, okay.
Stacks significantly greater than Pringles.
Ooh, okay.
So my snack chip now
Mm-hmm.
is pork rind.
Oh yeah. You're a big pork rinds guy.
Yeah, lots of brands, lots of kinds, and my guy set the tone, and he's not really doing a ton of business right now, so the pork rind game has struggled mightily.
Ooh, okay.
But I'll try any. I'm more of a chicharrones guy than pork rinds. I like a little more crunch than I do kind of the airy, and it's easier on my.
I didn't realize there was a difference between chicharrones and pork rinds.
Correct.
I thought they were mostly the same thing.
Well, it's actually chicharrones and cracklins. I'm closer to a cracklins guy.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I still don't know the difference.
You know the bottom of like bags of chicharrones where you get a little more. It's a little
oh
crunchier.
yeah. That's
those
a cracklin.
Those are closer to cracklins.
Gotcha.
You go to like supermercados, and you will see the difference.
Okay.
Scoops are better than the round ones, in my opinion. They're just a different texture there.
Can I tell you, it's not even close between High Five and All for One. Like we're not even close.
Yeah, unfortunately, you guys are a little too mainstreamy.
Nah, it's like we're not even in the neighborhood.
Free All for One.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like
it's stupid. I swear.
Like a 20-1.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, dominant.
It's aggressive.
True. Interesting.
Yeah.
A lot of bad musical taste.
Well, I don't know about that. All for One's a good song.
I swear. That's
By the
what I
moon
was
and
going
the stars and the skies. I'll be there.
Almost just slipped out.
For better or worse, till death do us part.
Oh gosh.
Now
I love you with every beat of my heart.
The new potato chip that I've been eating.
Yes.
Stays on delay.
Pringles beer can, chicken.
Pringles beer. Oh, that's a new flavor?
Yeah. And there's a beer brats one too.
My algorithm the other day had a Korean chicken chip from Lay's.
So there's some you can get some exotic flavors.
So when I was in Madison, it was Wisconsin. It was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I just was walking, and there was a mart that had multiple kinds of Lay's.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have a different student
population. Yeah.
And it's one of those where, did I ever tell you the story about the cotton candy grapes?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Where I didn't read the per pound thing.
Yeah.
And it was like $18 when I got to the register for like 32 grapes.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get out of line, but I didn't because I insecure and care too much.
You'd be like, oh, I'm not paying $18 for 12 grapes.
Yeah. So I had taken the chicken cheesesteaks from the plane that we got. So I had 2 sandwiches back at the room. I was like, I'll get some chips because I wasn't going to. A lot of times I don't eat out on the road. Or go out to eat. So I got 2. I can't remember the flavor. One was like chicken ramen, and the other was like, I don't know, maybe chicken fried rice. It was something rice flavory. I took the 2 bags of chips up there. That dude said $9.40, and I was like, these are big grabs. They're not even.
They're like the individual size?
He goes, yeah, man, distribution, it's hard to get. So, I mean, there's a little bit of a markup. I'm like, shoot.
You know where you need to go?
Where?
You ever been to the Asian grocery store?
Several, but which one in particular?
I
go to the ones Wyatt tells me, and now the one that I used to go to that was his go-to is now closed.
The one on Dodge.
That's a big street. We'll narrow it down.
76.
I know what you're talking about. Just it's just south of Cass.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can get off on Cass and you're going to be right there. I know where that is.
So they have a huge selection of like differently flavored chips from the different Asian countries and stuff. You'd enjoy that.
Nice.
They've got a lot of options there.
Better than gummy bears.
Well, yeah, I'm not a big gummy bear guy. They're fine. But I'm not a big. You like gummy bears a lot.
I have the same 5-pound bag in my fridge in the garage.
Yeah.
It's well over a year old.
Are those still good? How long do they last?
Forever.
I don't. think that's true.
This bag's not going to last a year.
I
give it a week.
I'm dead serious.
Do gummy bears go bad? That's next Google.
I keep mine in the fridge though.
I don't know if that matters. I don't know.
Listen,
I don't know.
Judgy McJudge.
About 12 to 18 months. So you got about 6 months left on
I'm
that,
good.
those bad boys.
I'm well under the window.
Are you going to eat those in the next 6 months?
Probably not. That's not going to be the first thing I melt down with.
Yeah.
You
chips, cereal.
Probably something Hostess.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of it.
Cinnamon rolls.
Or like 32 oatmeal cream pies, maybe.
Dude, oatmeal cream pies are so good.
I can't eat just one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go through a box of those things like nothing.
Johnny the Pig is a terrible listener. He's a terrible. Pork rinds and chicharrones are the same thing, just fried pork skins. Hey, Johnny, no bleep. Cracklins are similar. They leave the fat. That's basically what I just said, Johnny. I don't need your finite expertise this morning. Isn't that without the detailed jargon? Is that about what I just said?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you also dumbed it down for me because I would know what you were saying.
I wasn't going to get into the specifics.
Yeah.
I said, well, pork skins, pork rinds, and
the
chicharrones
textures are a little bit
they're the
different.
same thing.
Yeah.
It's cracklins that are the difference.
Yeah.
Come on, Johnny. Do better. Just because you're the god of bacon. I shouldn't have told him that because
Kobe says those are heinous Pringles flavor, Shane.
Yeah, they don't sound. Where has Kobe been?
I don't know. Todd's been rolling with it.
Justin,
Listen, I'm gonna tell you about Todd. You guys both claim Todd. Todd's just nice. So you guys are going, oh, Todd. He's just a good. He's not gonna say anything.
He even knew the other flavor because there's
Shane,
three
he's
different.
just a good dude. He's not
three-
gonna say anything that's gonna not rock the boat. You guys fight over him, and it's like he's just a nice person.
There's three different flavors. One of them was a Walmart exclusive, and
The
he
key
knows
is
it.
to find the
He
good
knows
people
it.
that get under your skin. You can't
Or-
claim that easy night.
or-
Oh man, I love that Mother Teresa, man. She's so nice. No
Yeah.
bleep.
So I can't roll with Kobe then because he doesn't like those Pringle flavors.
I rock with Kobe, and
I'm-
Kobe is very. He's not an easy guy to rock with, but I roll with him.
No, don't get me started on Mother Teresa.
I know you're out.
It's not.
Todd said.
He's rolling with all three flavors. Todd
Dude is apparently just easy going.
Todd knows what's up.
Oh God, here we go. Fighting over dudes in the street.
Justin.
Hey, where were you guys when I was rolling with Justin when he was driving you guys crazy?
Justin in on Supermercados.
Supermercado. I'm telling you, they're fire.
Dude, my wife goes to those all the time. She loves Supermercados.
There's one right by my barber.
They have great stuff.
And then I can get to Benton in a hurry.
Yeah, they have great stuff. Yeah, I've been to the one on Benton a bunch, especially when I live down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down where? By the river?
Like 10th and Pine-ish.
I know right where that is.
Yeah.
I go that way to go to Channel 7.
Yeah, I lived right.
I get off on Martha.
Yeah, so it was a little north of Pine, but
He
not
said,
much.
sorry for bothering you with my help.
SkyMax is talking about Albanese gummy bears for some reason.
So that's what the bag is.
Okay.
Albanese. That's what the bag is. It's a big 5-pounder. It was sitting out front at Hy-Vee, and I snagged it, and it was a moment of weakness.
So that's like a brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
thought-
a big.
He said Albanese. I was thinking Albanian, and I was like, why are you going to Albania for your gummy
Hey,
bears?
I'm sorry. This was written in Albanian. Can you read this for me?
Good luck.
I told you I was going to find you.
You're impressed I knew that one, aren't you?
It's pretty good because you're really special when it comes to stuff like that.
I don't really like those kind of movies.
I'm still laughing at Johnny.
DJ says, forget gummy bears, give me oatmeal raisin cookies. I don't know about that.
Oh, who's being kind?
DJ Stover?
Oh, so is DJ trolling me, or did he hear the oatmeal?
He must have heard it. I think the only guy that was riding with you was JP.
How about severe slandering me public over the oatmeal raisin cookies?
Dude, oatmeal raisin cookies are foul.
What?
Oatmeal raisin cookies are terrible.
No, they're not.
Foul.
They're great. I had some oatmeal cookies last week. They were great.
I'm not even gonna rehash this with either. Like, you're an idiot. First of all, like,
dude, oatmeal raisin cookies are disgusting.
I mean,
I would like if I had a low blood sugar and that's the only thing that was available, I would just die. I'd be like, nah, I'm cool. I had a good run. 37 years long enough. I'm cool.
Oh, it's fine.
If this is what the Lord has in store for me, it's all right. You know?
It's weird what gets me gassed up.
But oatmeal raisin cookies are it.
You feel that?
We're a little warm. You feel like I just was talking about Brock Purdy.
Hey, by the way, read what.
Isn't that weird to have that elicit that response? Because you're too matter of fact. It's just an opinion, but you're pawning it off like word is bond.
Oatmeal raisins.
Read what just came up on the screen there.
Well, read it. What does it say? Oh, Tadril.
Miller Lite Pringle chip. What are we doing?
That's the 3 times that's what I was telling you about. They're Miller Lite beer can Pringle chips.
Pass.
I've never even heard of that.
Pass.
I've never heard of that.
That's good. You pass, so I can get those, and you're not.
TK oatmeal raisin cookies are rough.
Okay, so TK.
Todd's in on them.
TK's getting kicked out.
So we got Albanese, we got Albanian.
No,
we got Black Forest ham. We got
it's not Black Forest ham.
And we got Haribo, sorry.
Harpo, big color purple guy.
Yeah. Productions.
Boy, you sure is ugly.
So, Haribo, Black Forest, or Albanian? Which?
It's not Albanian.
Sorry, Lebanese. Albanian, Albanese. Which brand are we going? What's the go-to?
Haribo.
Yeah.
Haribo.
Haribo.
We've looked up this pronunciation, Shane and I, one other time.
So apparently, Haribo's the one. I'm just gonna keep saying it my way.
Hey, Shane, can you hit the AC?
Johnny, I didn't pay $45 for fish and chips. I passed.
Hey, he's trying. See, he's on one now. He's gonna go amazing, Daniel, on this place.
I went on a whole rant because I thought it was absurd that anyone would charge that for fish and chips. See, this is what you mean when you say he doesn't listen.
Oh, I'm telling you, he can be tough.
Lee, that's a good point. So I don't like raisins in general. So that's part of the issue with oatmeal raisin cookies.
Yeah, so some food.
I just don't like
some
raisins.
Food was brought home yesterday from a graduation, and there were raisins in the rice.
No.
And a couple of almonds.
Who's putting raisins in rice? Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, it's
left-hand turn at Albuquerque, man. I had to pass.
Yeah, no, I'm swipe left. Get out of here.
See, I'm telling you, I'm going to keep you sane. Lee's going to rock with you this morning. Be careful.
Yeah.
You be one of them guys you fall in love with.
No, I know. Lee's a little tough sometimes.
Yeah, he'll cut you at the knees.
Lee's a little tough sometimes. I've seen that. No, I don't like oatmeal. So that's like anything oatmeal related, I'm out. Especially rice. Like, what are we doing? No, pass. I don't like stuff in my rice in general. Like, I'm very picky about people.
Aren't you a big basmati guy?
I'm more of a jasmine.
You like her too?
Basmati's all right.
Oh, did I say it wrong?
Yeah, it's like Haribo.
Shane, hit the music. I need to. Well, this thing's got to be about 70.
Who's putting cranberries in rice? What are we doing?
Aren't these guys?
Dude, David's right though. Peach rings are the
You
stuff.
can tell you are very much
rings.
rewarded for listening to this show every day.
Yeah,
if you get all the little small.
There's like running jokes.
Wow, I need a.
I didn't pay $45 for fish and chips. Just for the record, I would never.
It's to be honest, it's not like JP. It's not like he can talk. His taste isn't cheap. I mean, the dude cures his own meat. He cuts his own. Yeah. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Did that strike you as a guy that was low maintenance that vacuum sealed that bacon?
No.
Pretty high.
I ate dinner with Johnny Pig once. Like I understand.
Yeah.
He's one of those people. I struggle with him.
Super bougie.
Because I like him way more in person than I do on the internet, and generally I'm like out on those people.
Me too.
Because it's like, hey, if you're like this 90% of the time, like I only interact with you very little in person. So
don't ever meet Daniel.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a wrap.
No, I don't like fish and chips enough to pay $45 for them. There's other stuff I'll pay $45 for.
I'm not paying $45 for anything over lunch.
Depends on what it is. Depends on where I'm going for lunch.
Not that great of a meal.
I mean, it can be as great as you want it to be.
Yeah, if you're not having dinner.
I don't know if you know this, DB. You can eat whatever you want whenever you want. There's not rules, really.
What's the AC on?
This is just,
the minute he says clear, I'm getting up.
I'm just saying, like, Your guy AC, we were having a nice little conversation. Like, oh yeah, you can go here for lunch. Here for a nice little place. Just
He's bougie too, though.
I'm just saying. I'm not paying $45.
But his temperament is low maintenance. His taste is.
Yeah, just like me, low maintenance.
I mean, my guy like vacations at cabins in Montana.
Not a big cabins guy myself, but it's all right.
That's AC.
That's DB. I'm Ravi. A little more Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
Well, it was a dream come true for Noah Cameron. Let's talk about your MLB debut, something that's been so many years in the making for you.
Yeah. Obviously you just can't make it up. It was obviously a super special day, just with family and everybody that was there. Obviously having my son and just everybody there to support was awesome. Thankfully it went well. Some people can't say the same. So thankfully it went well. And they just welcomed me with open arms, and it was a ton of fun.
Okay, we've got a lot to cover. I want to go over the call first. When did you hear that you'd be going up to KC?
Yeah, I pitched on the Saturday here in AAA and kind of got pulled early, so we kind of were hoping for it, I guess. And then Sunday they kind of told me, hey, Reagan's isn't going to start, and you're going to go Wednesday, and we were ready for it. The George called me in his office, him and Dane, and told me, and it was super special. Embraced me with hugs and just a good congratulations, and we were ready for it.
Here with Austin Kaiser following Bennington's 3-1 win over Lexington, sending you guys back to the Class B state title game. As a senior, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. We put in a lot of work this season, and I want to go out with a bang, so hopefully Tuesday is a bang.
Yeah. Keegan Happ got things started really early, 3 minutes in. How did that set the tone for today's game for you guys?
Yeah, I said it before. I believe in you. I want you to take this kick. He buried it. We knew after that it was going to be a fun game, and we just put our chances in.
And you knew it wasn't just going to be a 1-0 game. Lexington tied this game up early, and it was you with the response. 36 goals coming into state, and you made your mark tonight. What's made you so dangerous this season?
Just my teammates. We've been playing with them for so long. We got a lot of chemistry. We're excited. We're excited to be back, and we're going to go out with a bang, like I said.
To see a freshman steal this game off for you guys celebrated him pretty hard. What did that mean to share that moment with him?
Oh, it was beautiful. First goal of the season, a screamer. It was beautiful.
State title game coming this week. What would it mean for you to finally bring a state title back to Bennington?
It means a lot. It would be the first one for soccer, so just got to be prepared, locked in. We'll be ready.
Yeah, thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Barely.
That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you, make sure you keep those eyes focused and straight ahead as you're driving this morning. It's a little wet out there. You might have a little road spray. Make sure you're locked in and make sure you've got no distractions as you're driving. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. I
got some friends that eat oatmeal raisin cookies with me.
So I want to clarify here.
Yeah, you need to go back and get a lot.
No, I'm fine.
That was not your one shining moment.
I thought I had a great segment.
By the way, God,
you cooling off a little bit?
Yes, because I was
getting a little heated. Got you.
I was not gonna tap you up.
Well, hey, it's right there.
Take my medicine.
No, I like oatmeal cookies. I don't like raisins. So anything with raisins in it, I'm just going to be out. But people brought up like iced oatmeal cookies, which are very good.
You raisin snobs are funny.
It's not a snob. I just don't like them.
But it's one of those weird random things that people are super passionate about.
So, I've got
nobody's middling on raisins.
Yeah,
they either
like,
hate them.
They're okay.
Yeah,
they're fine.
I think it's just cool to hate.
It's not cool. I just don't like them. The texture of them is very strange to me, and I don't like it.
Says the guy that eats adult Pop-Tarts.
I mean,
DJ and I might have to hang out. Are they soft? My mom would sometimes sprinkle apples in there too, DJ.
I do like we talked about oatmeal cream pies. I like the oatmeal cookie there. I like iced oatmeal cookies. I just don't like raisins. So the oatmeal is not my problem.
It's fine.
I'll ride with some oatmeal, but get those raisins out of there.
Hey, read what Doc said.
Yeah, I don't even like Indian food, Jason. And also, I think that's kind of a different region for me.
He asked like he really didn't know. Hey,
aren't there several
Indian dishes that use raisins?
Not in the region that I'm from or that my family's from. And I'm not messing with those dishes.
Oh, see,
there's a lot of Indian.
And that's your guy too. You introduced him to me.
There's a lot of Indian food I'm not messing with.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 or 3 dishes that I'll eat ever.
We're having that tonight.
And they're kind of the white people dishes, if I'm being honest.
What?
Yeah, they're for the whites. I've told you when Natasha and I go to an Indian restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Like I order her food, she orders mine, so they give her the proper level of spice.
It's gonna keep me alive around you.
I don't know if that's true.
No, it's a sedative.
It's not magic.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, you like the Ramones? You want to be sedated?
I don't know them.
The Ramones? They're like I think 80s, maybe 70s, like one of the original kind of punk bands.
Yeah.
It's probably not like in your wheelhouse. You
They
don't
have
seem like
2-minute-long songs.
Yeah, they're pretty quick.
No wonder you like them, Shane.
No, I hate the Ramones.
It's good timing.
I can't freaking stand the Ramones.
Yeah.
Just keep the
You
beat.
get the rhythm. Attaboy.
I'll take your word for it.
Wow, that's tough. That's tough. Touche. Hey, so later on in the show, I want to go through an exercise with you.
Yeah, Blitzkrieg Bop. Husker Dominator knows. That's a Ramon song.
Blitzkrieg. So Husker Dominator appears to have some range.
He does. He's a little versatile. Seems like he knows a lot.
Kind of
a little about a lot.
Kind of has some range. Because we're having this conversation. Lee, you're very good with data too, so you can help us out. I don't love to do the dynasty. Squirrel. I don't love to do the schedule talk. But I think we kind of have to work through some things if we're going to process Nebraska's football season, because we know what the win total's out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very, very interesting.
I mean, Vegas appears to look at the Big Ten the same way we do, where there's a lot of teams in the middle.
The 7.5s for like Illinois, Nebraska.
I was surprised Illinois was that low.
Me too.
The media seems much higher on them than Vegas is.
And they typically don't make that agreed. The last one, infamously,
was Nebraska.
Iowa.
Oh, well, there was
Iowa was the one where everybody was
7.5
slam
last year.
dunk, and Phil Steele was like, "Get me to." No, it was it 7.5 or 8.5?
It was 7.5 last year.
It was,
and they barely cleared it because they won 8.
And I'm like, they typically don't make egregious mistakes.
I bet you 8.5 because I thought it was such a lock. But the actual number,
I think we got to the second bet at 8.5.
Yeah,
it was originally you got me at 9.
Yeah,
I locked that in.
But the actual Vegas number was 7.5.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive.
Because we're gonna have to take a look at these teams. Because a lot of people, especially if they go to this new format, with the playing games being from 6th place on, 6 is the number. We talked 5. 6 is the number.
Yeah.
Can Nebraska get to 6? And if they do,
I think they can get to 4. But that's yeah, I think they can get to 4. Outside of the top 3 teams in the league, I think it's wide open.
Apparently Husker Dominator is a huge fan. This is why sometimes I'll take like 5 or 6 minutes and not read the stream, because the stream can get me to go places.
Oh, it can get you distracted.
That I don't really want to go. And I need to stay right here.
Stay in the wheelhouse.
So we're gonna have to like kind of go through
some of these teams
that Nebraska doesn't play,
that they have to pass,
that they still have to pass. Like and we've got to get to that. I don't know what hour you want to start that.
I think I want to do. So we're wide open at 9.
Yeah. Is this hour real? Is this really Jacob?
I don't know.
It can't be. But that's funny though.
I have no idea.
I didn't get kicked out.
No, you left.
Matter of fact, they did everything they could do and then some to keep me. I had a newfound respect for their former head man.
Maybe for the first time ever.
Pretty sweet pot. What teams do you want, DB? So TK, today we're gonna do Washington.
Yep. Indiana.
And Illinois.
And Illinois.
Yeah. Washington, Indiana, and Illinois.
So we're gonna do a little deep dives there.
Well, I think you have to if you want to kind of.
And
again, it's hard to predict, but
get into the weeds.
Schedules are gonna matter.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of 3-game stretches for both those teams that are going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to decide what team I'm most intrigued by out of that group, and we'll get to it. But like, there's kind of pros and cons. Like, that's why they're in the middle, right? That's why they're in the sandwich zone.
Which is the only reason I defaulted to schedules.
Yeah.
Let's see who they're playing.
But I do think so I'll be honest, I went deeper on personnel, and I kind of wanted to
No, I think that's important. I'm glad you did. I wanted to give you a little heads up because I think the personnel is going to matter.
I went personnel, and then I went and watched, especially with quarterbacks. I went and watched some Mendoza. I went and watched some Williams. I know what Altmaier is, so I didn't watch as much.
Well,
of him.
and Williams has the smallest sample size.
Right. So that's why I'm looking at. I go, okay.
Isn't that the end of the season?
Yeah, I don't know.
Be honest. Were you like, I don't know why that damn DB likes this?
No, I get it. I think you're more enamored with him than I am, but I get that there's a lot there to like. I don't know. We'll talk to Brian Christopherson coming up next on what day is it? What day are we at? Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Who do we have right now? Ben McLaughlin.
Yeah.
What day is it, man? I just had like a stroke. That was weird.
Don't joke about that.
I just had like a brain thing. I don't know.
That's morbid.
Well,
even from a serial killer.
The guy that wants to wants to murder people up close is like, hey, don't talk about strokes.
Yeah.
Just have a Pop-Tart. You'll be okay.
I got to finish the other one. The blood sugar was a little low in that first segment. So
that explains the thought process.
I got a text message from the wife. Hey, don't die. So that was that's the cue that I need to eat something.
She's so encouraged.
We're going to talk to Ben McLaughlin.
Did you tell her that I'm not a little bitch?
No. I don't think she knew you were talking about yourself yet. That's why she was so blunt with the criticism.
I removed all bias. I just wanted her real answer.
Yeah, that was a real answer.
I was like, this sausage tastes fire. I can fix the texture.
Although she would, I think, differentiate between somebody who works professionally and somebody who's cooking at home. I know that you view yourself as more of a professional.
I'm no Johnny the Pig.
We're going to talk to Ben McLaughlin because it's Tuesday, and I know what day it is.
It's Tuesday.
Uruguay. Ludwig Aberg. We're going to talk to Ben McLaughlin. Nebraska baseball plays tonight. Coming up next year on Hurrdat Sports Live.
For Hurrdat Sports and NAB Preps, it's Omaha South now facing Omaha Westside in the Class A State Championship, and Ryan Kubiak, the difference maker in this one. Late second half goal. Walk me through that late stretch. This was a defensive matchup through South Sioux City and Omaha South. What gave you that glimpse right to the goal where you had a chance there late?
You know, we started from the back. We went on a goal kick. I played the ball, and I make a mistake, and I'm like, oh, man. And they're on the attack, but my teammates got my back, and we win the ball back, and I'm like, man, this is our time to go. So then they play the ball to Jesus on the wing, and DJ cuts inside, and I'm just kind of trailing the play on the outside. And DJ plays me the ball, which is awesome. And then I just, one time, try to hope it goes in and went in. I'm super excited.
So you get your first goal ever for you at State. Walk me through just that moment. I mean, you walked right over to the corner to celebrate. Did you even know who you were celebrating with?
No idea, but they were awesome, though. I'm glad it went in. I'm glad I scored, man. It's just awesome feeling. I'm really happy with this team. I'm really happy with myself.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's DBM Ravi, Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by Ben McLaughlin, the play-by-play voice for your Nebraska Huskers baseball team. What's up, Ben?
How we doing, fellas? Good morning.
B, how we doing, bud?
Fantastic. Postseason baseball's around us. It's 50 degrees for some reason, which is a little odd, but I'm not going to complain about it. This time of year is always so much fun. There's so much going on, and now this year we have the softball team keeping us company this week. It's great. It's a great time for sports.
So I hope to be with you on a lot more Christmases going forward. So I won't ask for a Christmas card, but I feel like partly responsible, B-Mac, for everybody wanting and loving to talk to you now, because when we were bringing you on and everybody was like, oh my God, he's so funny. I was like, you guys have no idea. He keeps it toned down for radio. Now you don't have to. Still hilarious. And our guys with No Block, No Rock were tickled by you last night. And I'm like, you get that guy going, he is borderline incorrigible. Like, do you like all your media hits, Ben? Because you seem to be doing very well with them.
Well, those guys are so easy to talk to.
They're hilarious.
And I love that they're just diehards, right? Like
Yeah.
there's no agenda. They're just genuinely interested in you and what you have to say and your perspective, which makes it easy to open up.
And they kind of have all a little bit different personalities, which makes it fun.
Yeah, 100%. And they're like, hey, like, this is a podcast. You know, we don't have a dump button. Like, you can just talk. And I'm like, you can't say that to me. Like, that's the wrong thing to say.
Well,
because now my entire reputation is going to be ruined.
well, B-Mac, here's the thing. We're digital only as well. And I just don't usually tell you because I work with you, so I know what that can be like. I mean, I've seen 3rd and 6 and Chiefs not convert a first down. I've heard that.
Oh yeah. Well, that's rare air from people that get to witness that firsthand. And not only did you get to witness it with me, but Lane also, who's just as psychotic as I am.
That was I was mortified. I'm not gonna kid you. I'm like, you guys, you're the best team in the league. You're gonna end up winning by 20. Like, what are we doing? You were living and dying with every snap.
There are two or three things that you said to me last year that I'll just never forget because your facial expressions were like said so much more than you actually vocalized. One of them was that day, and you looked me in the eye and go, are you like this every Sunday? And I said, I am.
I was terrified for the kids. I'm like, who's home with you?
And then what happened in New York? Like, something happened in New York where you just blatantly called me out. And I'm like,
oh,
wow,
you went full-fledged psycho over the setup of the studio. And you go.
Oh, yeah, because you guys were in the ballpark.
And he goes, he looked at it, and he was going to try to tinker with it. And he looked, and he thought, and he goes, yep, this is not going to work. We're going to do it my way. And I didn't say a word for the next 10 minutes. I just let you do your thing.
And then what'd we do?
Yeah.
We did it my way, and it worked.
It worked. I mean, it was super psychotic. It's fun. I mean, I get a kick out of it. How long did it take you? Wait, let's start with softball because you dropped softball. And I was on social media yesterday, and we were trying to, it wasn't my idea. It was the afternoon guys in Severe. We were going back and forth over like Jordy's regular season accomplishments. And, I'm going way back in the vault, and I'm talking about Mark Sagmoin, and I brought up Jordan Burroughs, and of course Sue comes up, Jim Hartung comes up. Do we need, considering she could have her own category, depending on how she hits the ball coming up here in a few days, will she need her own category, considering she could be one of one if her postseason continues on the trek that it's going?
Yeah, I think and everything that you said, I think, is dead on. Like, it's hard to come up with a comp because, it would be like a Charles Woodson or a Travis Hunter right? Like playing both sides. It would take somebody on the basketball floor to average 30 with, X amount of steals, or like to be able to do it at that level on both sides. Like it's what we would call, Greg and I used to call alien status. Like,
should we talk about how she didn't hit for 3 years, or is that not?
That's the thing that's like, I'm just going to pick this bat up and hit 23 bombs. Like, and not just hit bombs, but I'm going to get on base at a 500-plus clip. I'm going to bat almost 400. Like, that in itself, and I talked about this on the podcast with the boys last night, it's like that 2013 team was a very good team, and you had individuals that excelled at their roles. Like, you had the Edwards sisters. Tatum in the circle. Taylor was just an absolute beast behind home plate. And then you sprinkle in the rest of it, like your middle infield with Decker and Armstrong, right? Like, those guys were they were among the nation's leaders in double plays that year. You had Kiki Stokes at the top of the lineup. Brooke Thomason was as clutch as any Husker had been. Like, any time in a big moment, that's who you wanted up. And you just had so much contribution from all over. And not to say Nebraska doesn't have that this year, but the contribution they're getting from one player in the circle and in the batter's box, it's hard to really comprehend. It truly is.
And can I make the argument to you that rather than look at it as a two-way player thing, if we're going to make a comparison, that we should look at it as her singular impact on winning, in which case I would probably give you Sue as the comparison, because it felt like, I don't know, in the moment it felt like he was single-handedly winning games for Nebraska.
Hang on, before you answer that, Ben, and we think team, the reason I went with Burrow is because for a pitcher and a hitter, it is often mano-a-mano, especially if you factor in her strikeouts.
Sure.
So it is a little more individual.
Yeah.
Even though she's playing a team sport. So I went with an individual performance, which is where I came up with 2011 Jordan Burrow, who go read those accomplishments and accolades for JB. Like, because it's her catcher. It's as a hitter, it's her and a pitcher. So that's kind of how I got to the mano-a-mano thing.
Well, unfortunately, I'm not sitting between you guys like I was on the podcast last night to play Switzerland, but I kind of think you're both right. Like, the individual, and I'll tell you why. Like, the individual side, that's where the pitching comes in. Like, in the circle, you're just trying to beat the person in front of you, right? Like, my only goal is to get you out. Yeah, I have some support behind me, but my job is to get you out. It's you against me. But from the team planning perspective, like when you think about Sue, entire game plans were built around him. And I think in a way, Jordy Bahl is that in the batter's box. Like, what do we do? Do we set up an inning by putting her on base? Do we pitch around her and try and get her out, get herself out? Or do we just – it was a little bit like Jack Caglione last year, what we had to deal with in Stillwater. It was like, what do you do around this one guy? And a lot of that game planning, good, bad, or indifferent, it puts the pressure on then your teammates, the guy in front of you or the guy behind you. Like, I think both answers are correct, because you saw from Southeastern the wheels churning when Jordy was at the plate. Like, what do we do here? Do we let a solo home run beat us? Do we try and get her out? Like, do we set up a big inning? They genuinely had no idea what to do with her. So, I do think there are both answers are correct. And the fact that she has that much impact on a softball game with a, one of 9 or 10 starters, it's, like I said, it's hard to really comprehend.
Ben, switching gears over to baseball here as they get started off tonight against Michigan State. How much do you weigh the fact that they have won 5 consecutive weekend series to get to the point where it actually did make the Big Ten tournament versus just the overall sort of inconsistency we've seen this year as you get everything kind of abbreviated into the postseason space?
Yeah, what's tough is you don't have any buffer. Like, so many of those series, Nebraska would lose on Friday, or in this case, get walked off by Purdue on what we call Saturday, the game 2 of the series. So it happened to be on Friday. That's what makes it tough, is the way this is formatted. There's no room for error. Like, you have to go 2-0. And so to put that amount of pressure on this team, like it's the same way with Michigan State, and it's the same reason why in the press box we're locked into Minnesota, Michigan State on the last day to try and avoid the pitching matchup that Nebraska has in front of them today.
With Jura?
Yeah, exactly. So everyone's talking. I've been telling everybody how it's a bad matchup. Nebraska got put in a bad pool, and they're talking about Oregon. I'm not even talking about Oregon. I'm talking about the 12th seed.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a 6'9" lefty who has a 3/4 arm slot and throws 98. Like, it's not a good matchup for anybody.
I'll say, for anybody, to be fair.
But Nebraska has seen him, though, B-Max, so that helps.
Yeah. It helps, but he also punched out 11. So let's hope that goes a little bit better this time. But he threw against Oregon, and all he did is go 9 innings.
Yeah, he shoved
3 hits, shut him out, no walks, and he also struck out 11. So, like, it's not like he's doing it against nobody. He's a bona fide draft prospect, and so it's a really tough matchup for Nebraska. But as you guys know, crazy things tend to happen in this tournament, and Nebraska's not scared. I think it's just, me being myself and overanalyzing everything and wanting everything to be perfect all the time. But you got to go face the bull head on, and they're going to put the ball in the hand of Ty Horn and go play 9 innings tonight and see what happens.
You like them giving the ball to Horn?
I like giving it to Horn because, with the workloads that we had this last week, you're probably going to go Horn, Brockett to start regardless. And then now what you do is you let kind of matchups dictate where you go from there. Like if it's a Will Walsh game, then you can let him rip off 4 or 5 innings. I like backing him up with Horn just because of how different they are. You've got a hard-throwing righty and kind of a soft-throwing lefty. They kind of piggyback well off of each other. But it's going to be all hands on deck after this regardless. And so Horn only threw 50 pitches on Friday, so he's ready to go. Like he'll be able to get up to 80, 90, 100 pitches if he needs to tonight. I thought that Nebraska did a really good job managing those arms this weekend in preparation for this week.
So, Ben, speaking of getting the arms ready and what that looks like for this week, how much differently do you think they'll approach this considering the, we'll call it unusual nature of the pod system in the Big Ten tournament this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's do or die. I mean, it's must win. It's not inconceivable. And we saw this. When was this? I'm trying to remember when this was, but Nebraska was playing. Oh, I remember when it was. It was against Rutgers in the Big Ten tournament last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Where you had both closers in the game in the 6th inning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're going to see a lot of that here this week too, where it's almost like a regional caliber, pitching setup, especially for teams like outside the top 4 seeds who are all fighting for a tournament bid. There's no double elimination. There's no, we'll fight our way through the losers bracket, because the way the tiebreaker structure is set up, you have no option but to go 4-0 in this tournament.
Yeah, so with all the hand-wringing about the pod system, which isn't new, whether it's single or double, we've seen conferences tinker with both. Sounds like the one thing you'd change about this level of confusion is the tiebreaker, because it almost still doesn't take away the meaningless games that you'll play until Friday potentially, but it would clean up the difference between going 1-1 with teams. If you go 1-1.
And I think it depends on what year you ask me. Like if you ask me in a year where Nebraska's a top 4 seed, I love it because it means we're saving arms for the regional.
Yeah, who does Oregon have to throw, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like the teams that are already locked in, especially those that are in a host conversation, they don't mind this at all for a couple of reasons. One, they save pitching. 2, even if they drop a game and go 1-1, they're the higher seed, so that's going to be the tiebreaker. But the problem then becomes if it's a run differential, and you've got a team really out there struggling, you're going to have teams stealing bases and 4 or 5 hour games, and that's not appeasing to the fans. So like I get it, I understand it. I'm not going to make any rash judgments until I kind of see this thing play out this week and then try and form an opinion. But, I can kind of see the writing on the wall in a couple of different areas. My biggest gripe with it, though, DB, is this is a conference that's always so far behind the times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you already have a handful of teams that are going to be in. You're trying to build your brand as a conference, as a national power conference. And why wouldn't you want the opportunity for a team to go on a run in a tournament and be a good story in a regional and not give them that opportunity based on a tie-breaking scenario?
Listen, I get it. Iowa didn't. You're talking about a team like Iowa. I mean, because they've got a 73 RPI.
Mm-hmm.
They don't win this thing. They're not going to be an at-large.
No.
One of the best records in the conference during the regular season, and they're going to be on the outside looking in like, what just happened?
Yeah, 100%. I don't have a lot of sympathy for them, though, because of the way they scheduled in the non.
Correct.
Like, this needs to be a lesson, not just to Iowa, and they're the low-hanging fruit this year, but Purdue is the same way. Like, there's a lot of teams that have pretty good teams, but they don't know how to schedule. And so by doing that, you really pigeonhole yourself by having to win this tournament or having to win the regular season. Well, when you add 4 more teams into the mix to win a regular season or to win a tournament, that chore becomes a lot more difficult. And so what can you do? And I'm not saying go out and, maybe do what Nebraska did and schedule incredibly aggressively, but it's got to be better than the 150th ranked non-conference strength of schedule to get any love. You can't be worried about one game with Oregon State ending in a tie to hold all the water for your RPI. You've got to schedule better. And what that does is it creates the domino effect. It's the reason why the SEC hosts every regional every year, is because their non-conference strength of schedule is great, which means their conference.
Yeah, you don't have near the hand-wringing of Oklahoma and Kentucky that you do like Creighton and UConn or
Exactly.
Or even I was going to say USC, but their RPI is like 40 or 41, so they're good. But, I mean, USC is kind of not advantageous for them either outside of the way that they scheduled, because they'd almost be an afterthought.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, everything's a domino effect and everything's big picture. And I just think at times, there are either as a league or individual teams, they don't learn that. And I hope Iowa learns this lesson, because this affects Nebraska. This affects every other teams in the Big Ten. Like, when you look at an RPI before a weekend of a team you're going to play on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's over 100, you kind of cringe, because you go, oh boy, like, this is going to be, no matter if we win or lose, this isn't going to benefit us. And so you have to have that thing in a good spot before your conference play starts, or you're really fighting an uphill battle, especially in a league like the Big Ten.
Ben, can I make the argument that even if the logistics of the tournament make sense in terms of what you're trying to do and give advantage to the higher seeded teams and things like that you discussed, that if your fans can't understand it, that it's probably not a good format?
Yeah.
Like, is that fair?
And I think it's fair. I do, because, like, especially in a scenario like this where their team is going to dictate a lot of who's watching. We've seen it where Nebraska hasn't made the Big Ten tournament and how it affects the attendance. Like, there's so many different things at play here. There's the fairness to the teams, certainly. There's how do we reward the teams for finishing in the top 3 or 4, however you want to do it. There's how does this look on television? How are our attendance? Like, there's so many things at play here as a league that you're trying to juggle. But at the same time, I think the conducive form, like, I think they're going to learn a lot of lessons, good, bad, or indifferent this year. And they're going to get a lot of feedback from coaches. And unfortunately, a lot of that feedback is going to be dictated by final scores. But I think they're going to be, try to take into effect and account all the feedback they garner from not just the coaches, but, certainly the fans and the administrators as well, because this is new. This is certainly a brand new format. This tournament's been hosted at this site for a long time, and this is unlike anything any of these patrons that are planning on going this week have seen before.
It just seems like it was fixable to not either do the double elim or have 1-1 not be as much of a death sentence as it could potentially be. They chose both, so you're going to have to find ways to stay motivated, even though the games you're playing may not matter.
That's the biggest thing to me, right?
Right,
there
like
about
that's
the whole thing is why play games that don't matter? Like, the end result, all it means is these student athletes get a chance to go compete, and you're playing for pride, and that's pretty much it. Like, that sucks. That sucks this day and age.
Yeah.
Like, You know,
I mean, it's very world.
We've gotten away with consolation games for a reason.
Exactly.
It's very similar to like World Cup pools where like you've got two teams that can't advance to like the next like bracket play, elimination play, and you have to play the games anyway.
At least their goal differential matters for the teams that have been in the pool, though.
It does, and so like it doesn't even. You just end up playing these games that don't mean anything. Like I don't understand why you can't just do a couple double buys for your top 4 teams and get them in there, and you feel good about it. Like I don't get it at all.
Or instead of 3 pods of 4, make it 4 pods of 3, or vice versa. Make you have to play 3 games, and then go into your semifinals. Like there's certain things that could very easily change this format. But Damon, you hear me ask this question pretty much every Saturday. Like, what are we doing? Like, why?
They can't see your facial expression. That's what makes it the best. It is totally blank. Like
it's serious at the same time.
I have a couple of non-baseball questions, of course, because you're one of the other 3 people in this conversation that likes the NBA. What would you give up, or what would you say no to for Giannis?
Oh my gosh!
There's nobody on your roster that's untouchable, right? Like, because you're a Charlotte fan, like there's nobody.
Don't influence him.
Sorry, I'm just.
Are you talking about Charlotte? You
no,
can take the
just
whole
it.
team.
Just.
I'll go 1 through 5.
That's what I thought you were asking. I was like, come on, man.
No, just in general, because I'm going to tell you guys who's going to be the 3rd player in this. Who? If you move him, it's going to be the Pelicans. Because I'm sure Milwaukee wants their picks back.
Yeah.
You watch.
Who are you taking off the Pelicans roster?
I don't know. It has to be a 3rd team, right? But they have the draft capital because you can't. Milwaukee's just not going to take guys.
No, because they don't have any other draft picks anymore. So that's why I always look at Oklahoma City and Houston because they both have players and draft capital that would be appealing to. That would be appealing to Milwaukee.
If you don't want 3 teams involved.
Yeah, but you get a couple guys and some draft capital.
I could see because Giannis at least kind of intimated it, or maybe it was Stephen A. for Giannis, who, by the way, I shouldn't listen to because I hate Stephen A. But if Giannis is in fact interested in the Knicks, then I could see a Hornet or a Pels Knicks 3-way with Milwaukee, because Milwaukee's going to want picks and probably Bridges or some guys. But
New Orleans is actually interesting because I bet you could go, hey, you give us Zion and a couple picks.
See, I bet he stays.
You think Zion stays?
And you give him some shooters.
I don't know.
I was just about to say.
Go ahead, Ben.
What is Zion's value? Like the dude's feet doesn't work.
Yeah, and put him with another guy who looks like he could break at any minute. Put him with Carl Anthony.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
If we're talking foot issues, just send them over to Charlotte. Like, that seems to be welcome over on our end. And can we agree? DeJounte Murray is a weird fit.
So he needs to go. He needs to be on the move.
He's a weird player. Yeah. He's just a weird guy.
But he's also a guy that holds value. So the Pels are interesting now that you say that. I think there are some interesting pieces there because I do think there's some value with the personnel side that they're not married to. But the draft capital, I think, is an interesting conversation too. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be another one of those big blockbusters that's going to almost define the league in a way.
I just feel like if you're Milwaukee, you have to look at a guy that has enough upside that your fans don't revolt. And Zion has that. Even though there's the question marks.
No, he's getting the eye roll. Nobody trusts Zion.
You don't trust him, but if you're talking about, because look at the other guys we're talking about.
At least they don't have as good of food in Milwaukee. Like it might be all right.
They do have a lot of beer and cheese though. That's a little bloaty,
So Zion should go there.
Listen, anywhere if you have a weight problem is better than being in New Orleans.
That's probably true.
That's true.
I mean, that food is
incredible,
right? How do you say no?
Been chilling on those beignets for a minute.
But how about this, B-Mac? At what point are you worried about Juan Soto?
I saw like a 12-second video clip of the series against New York, the Yanks, where there was like a ball hit to the wall, and for some reason one of the Yankee fans had their phone out, and like it just recorded him throwing the ball in. He looked like a lost puppy. Like, after he threw the ball, he turned around. He looked so sad. Like, I don't know. I mean, the Mets seem pretty volatile, and that's a lot of coin that they dished out for him.
Yeah, $750 million.
That's more than I'm worth. So I think, baseball is such a fickle sport sometimes because you can go through just stretches and long stretches of just being bad. And it all works itself out. It all comes around eventually. But then there's also times when you go through stretches of being bad and it just doesn't come back to you. And I think that's the worry right now for Mets fans is, his defense is lackluster. He's not hustling. Like, it's the little things that are contributing to the frustration. And then, it's bouncing in the double plays. It's the not hustling down the line. His defense has always been subpar. And I think it doesn't look like the care factor's there. So I'm not loving it if I'm a Mets fan, but thankfully I'm not. So I don't have to deal with it.
All right, let me get you out of here on this because we were talking about the NFL and obviously quarterback play. And as a Steelers fan, I envy teams like the Chiefs. And we thought in Kansas City it's a disappointment if you're not at least playing for in the AFC Championship. And Ravi cheers for Golden State. So I said, the Chiefs are like the anti-Golden State. They didn't take advantage of the peak years for Curry. Could you as a Chiefs fan, B-Mac, reach a point of diminishing returns where you have to keep restructuring Mahomes' deal because of the cash, because you'll have to restructure it again next year too, where if you're not playing for AFC championships, you are going to regret the deal? Or are you good considering the success you've already had?
I'll give you two answers. My answer is he's done enough for the franchise that is, and this is, you're talking to a real Chiefs fan here. Okay?
Oh, I know.
Like pre-Mahomes fan.
Like Tyler Thickpen Chiefs?
Oh, Brody Croyle. I mean, we could go down this rabbit hole.
You big Elvis Gerback guy?
My first jersey I ever owned was an Elvis Gerback jersey.
Oh, shame on you, B-Mac.
Not my choice. I didn't know who the guy was at the time. But he has done enough for me to, outside of breaking laws, like, he can do pretty much whatever he wants. And I think I'm almost to that point now as it is. Like, do I want 5 more Super Bowls? Obviously I do. But I think it's worth the headache. I mean, guys, he didn't play great last year. Like, he did not have a great year. And he was awful in the Super Bowl. He and pretty much everyone else on the roster, outside of maybe Xavier Worthy, was awful in the Super Bowl. So, like, yeah, I get what you're saying in terms of the diminishing returns. I think Chiefs fans would get to there eventually, like, because they're so entitled, and like, I think if it starts to become a pattern of, 5-6 years in a row of, maybe Denver catches them with Bo Nix, or
they're my prime candidate to return to they're going to regress. I think they maximized last year, even though that defense looks sensational.
Denver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't trust that offense.
I sure hope you're right. I really hope you're right.
I'd watch out for the Chargers, though.
You think? Chargers?
I'm a Harbaugh believer, so.
But B-Mac, we've talked a little bit about Herbert. You're like, as long as that guy's taking snaps, you feel confident?
Yeah, 100% I do. And I think, here's the deal.
Strong opinions.
Like,
I'm weirdly on the same page with Herbert. I just think Harbaugh is in a position where he can minimize how much he needs Herbert.
And Herbert was really good last year.
Yeah,
still
the numbers are always really good.
Yeah, he's a solid quarterback, right? Like, but I feel like with the Chiefs and what you're saying with the diminishing returns, like, they have done such a good job drafting and building around, like, last year's team, with the situation at receiver with everybody getting hurt or arrested. Like, that wasn't a good thing. And the running back injuries were piling up. But they somehow made it work. And how do they make it work? It's guys like Trent McDuffie, draft pick, Brian Cook, draft pick, Leo Chenal, draft pick, like George Karlaftis, draft pick. They've been able to build it up through different avenues to give me trust that they can win every Sunday outside of just 15. Yeah, he's a large part of that. But really until – they stop doing it consistently, I think it's a fair expectation that they're going to at least, compete for the West and be in the playoffs every year. And until that stops happening, you got to just find to make it work with the money with Mahomes.
What do you want your receiving core to look like?
I'm fine with it now as
Okay.
it is. I mean, I think if you get a healthy Rashee Rice, that's certainly a big one. With what they've done with Worthy and getting Hollywood back for a year, I think is big. I think we all know that Kelsey's almost cooked, right? Like he had a hard time getting through last year. He wasn't nearly as productive. But I like the pieces behind him with Noah Gray. I think Noah's solid. But I think with what Andy wants to do with stretching the field now, and then you've got those underneath guys. Like Worthy developed into a really good just receiver last year. He wasn't just a slot gimmick guy. They were able to finally connect on some deep balls. So I'm honestly good with it. I just need 15's jersey to stay clean for more than 30 seconds. Like that's my biggest issue.
That's our guy, Ben McLaughlin.
We'll see you later tonight, buddy. Have a good call.
Appreciate it as always.
Thanks, guys. Later.
That's your play-by-play voice for Nebraska baseball.
That's my dude.
Love some Benny Mac.
He's nuts.
What did he say, though, about the Chiefs and Mahomes, though, that I said yesterday about a different team?
No, I get it.
You got to nail the draft. If you're going to pay the quarterback, you got to nail the draft.
I get it. But I'm telling you, I'm surprised that won't buy more goodwill because the Chiefs give you the appearance that they're trying to win around
every
him
year.
Every year.
That's why I
So does he actually have to get there?
I don't necessarily think so. If you have a drought, maybe you're getting in some trouble, like 3-4 years where you're not.
Yeah.
But
it would be because the AFC is getting better. Probably not that they're not trying.
Yeah, or that they missed on a couple of classes, like a couple of draft classes, and they've got a little gap.
Well, they got a 3-year bridge because they're 3 for their last 3.
Yeah, they're kind of nailing it right now. For as much credit as the Eagles get, the Chiefs have been just as good.
Elvis was a great Chiefs quarterback.
Yeah, my buddy just told me. I guess I didn't realize that he and Desmond were high school teammates.
Oh, really?
But Brett,
St. Joseph High School.
See, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Why does he know that?
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Shane, who played in the national championship in basketball this year?
Good God, I don't know.
No, seriously. You won the pool. Who played in the game?
I won the pool? I don't even remember.
Who played in
I was drunk. I don't know. I don't remember.
You don't even drink. Dude, it takes you 2 days to drink a 12-ounce beer.
Okay.
You
You're
eat
probably
the chips
right.
instead.
Okay. You got the gummy bears.
Shane, who played in the national championship basketball game this year?
I don't know. I mean, if you said, I would know.
You need to tell our listeners you're not joking. I know you're desperately trying to Google, and I'm
not Googling. I'm not Ravi here. I mean, I don't have to Google. No, but
Ravi's out here catching
No, but
strays.
no. He Googles good. I
Listen,
don't.
buddy.
I don't. You're way better at that than I am. I'd have a lot of problems with that.
Shane,
I can't even type.
This is an
I didn't
easy
even
one.
know how to spell.
This is an
I
easy
can't
one.
even read.
Who played in the Super Bowl?
I don't know. Eagles and Chiefs.
Okay.
Oh, we got that one. All right.
All right.
We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
Shane, what high school did they play together again?
St. Joseph.
Okay. It's just weird.
Like Delonte West and Jameer Nelson? Different St.
I
Joe's.
can't. It takes 15 minutes to get an answer on why you eat gummy bears with sandwiches. And it's his own thought process.
Yeah. So there's no wrong answer.
Right. But he can recall that in a millisecond?
I don't even know. Kyle, I got some bad news for you when we get back.
Well, it was a dream come true for Noah Cameron. Let's talk about your MLB debut, something that's been so many years in the making for you.
Yeah. Obviously you just can't make it up. It was obviously a super special day, just with family and everybody that was there. Obviously having my son and just everybody there to support was awesome. Thankfully it went well. Some people can't say the same. So thankfully it went well. And they just welcomed me with open arms, and it was a ton of fun.
Okay, we've got a lot to cover. I want to go over the call first. When did you hear that you'd be going up to KC?
Yeah, I pitched on the Saturday here in AAA and kind of got pulled early, so we kind of were hoping for it, I guess. And then Sunday they kind of told me, hey, Reagan's isn't going to start, and you're going to go Wednesday, and we were ready for it. The George called me into his office, him and Dane, and told me, and it was super special. Embraced me with hugs and just a good congratulations, and we were ready for it.
here with Austin Kaiser following Bennington's 3-1 win over Lexington, sending you guys back to the Class B state title game. As a senior, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. We put in a lot of work this season, and I want to go out with a bang, so hopefully Tuesday is a bang.
Yeah. Keegan Happ got things started really early, 3 minutes in. How did that set the tone for today's game for you guys?
Yeah, I said it before. I believe in you. I want you to take this kick. He buried it. We knew after that it was going to be a fun game, and we just put our chances in.
And you knew it wasn't just going to be a 1-0 game. Lexington tied this game up early, and it was you at the response. 36 goals coming into state, and you made your mark tonight. What's made you so dangerous this season?
Just my teammates. We've been playing with them for so long. We got a lot of chemistry. And, we're excited. We're excited to be back, and we're going to go out with a bang, like I said.
To see a freshman steal this game off for you guys celebrated him pretty hard. What did that mean to share that moment with him?
Oh, it was beautiful. First goal of the season, a screamer. It was beautiful.
Yeah. State title game coming this week. What would it mean for you to finally bring a state title back to Bennington?
It means a lot. It would be the first one for soccer, so, just got to be prepared, locked in. We'll be ready.
Yeah, thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
To score a goal like that in this atmosphere, and then you immediately ran over to your team and all the fans. What was that moment like for you?
It was a great experience. I can't really describe it right now, but in my head, I'm just happy for myself. I'm happy for everyone, and thank you for everyone that was out here supporting us.
It's been since 2011 that this team's going to play for a title. Why is it this group that's been so special to get back to this point?
I think we're just a really experienced group. We've been playing club since we were little. I think that chemistry has been building over time, So that's what has helped us up throughout this whole season, since high school year, and all the seniors. We're losing 8 seniors this year. I'm just happy we're making it back to the chip just for them.
Cheddar, and Rico. Big money rolls like burritos. Give me that hot sauce, no pico. Give me that.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you that it can make a difference where you decide to bank, because credit unions like Centris Federal Credit Union reinvest money back into the community. Last year alone, over $250,000 and over 1,900 volunteer hours were invested by Centris back into the community. It matters where you put your money, and Centris likes to put their money back into the community. Go check out centrisfcu.org to check out all their products and services, federally insured by NCUA. All right, I did a little foreboding before the break there. Kyle.
Who?
A little foreboding.
Oh, okay.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Foreboding, foreshadowing. You good?
Yep.
So Kyle asked,
dude, fake Jacob Bigelow is killing me.
Is that real or fake?
It's fake.
Okay.
gotta be.
So Kyle asked, he goes, does Brice, I assume Brice Williams, have a chance to sneak into the first round of the NBA draft? And I said, I've got bad news for you. It is more likely, and I'm not trying to be a hater.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. This is what the NBA thinks of Brice Williams.
Hey, stop yelling.
Mustard. No. It is more likely. It is more likely that Brice Williams goes undrafted than he goes in the first round. That's the way the NBA views Brice Williams.
He had a couple nice bounce back days, though.
He did. He had a couple nice bounce back. But there's a lot of guys like him in the NBA, kind of these 6'6" wing, score first type guys. I think he's good. I think he has a chance to make a roster. I don't think he's going to get drafted.
I do like the fact that you actually act like you've watched basketball before, because 2 months ago I would not have thought you watched basketball as much as you hated on Brice.
I was never hating on Brice.
No. Stop.
I was never hating on Brice.
This is like there's this beautiful thing where we can like go back and listen to segments. I was miffed, floored, shocked, chagrined, dismayed.
All I said is he wasn't a one. That's what I said. That's not hating. I don't think he's a one.
We even got into the draft thing, and it's like you didn't even think he was going to be at the draft combine.
I don't think. Oh, I still think he's getting drafted.
But he's there.
He's at the combine.
Let's just say this.
I still think he's getting drafted.
Okay, that's fine. He's thought of significantly higher than you would have intimated 2 months ago when we had this very same conversation. Own it, Ravi.
I don't think that's accurate.
Don't you wiggle.
I don't think that's accurate.
Don't you wiggle.
I don't think that's accurate.
Wiggle, why
if you want to have Shane pull it, I don't think that's accurate.
Ask KB. He was pissed that day.
The worst thing I said.
Not Kyle. Kobe.
The worst thing that I said about Brice was that, A, he's not a one in terms of a top priority option, not a point guard. But he's not a top priority option. He's better off suited as a two. And that I didn't think he was going to get drafted. That's it. He's a nice player. I like his little mid-range game. I think he's got a lot to him.
If I thought Jacob was up, by the way, he can't probably sleep as well with having a.
I don't know. Yeah, it depends.
So maybe he's not as in a. I'm going to call Jacob because.
Maybe they got him some painkillers. He's sleeping real well.
I need those.
I don't think you want to go down that.
I need him just to deal with the show.
Well, you got some other.
And plus, here's the thing with me. I can put a lot of things in, and it won't affect my mood. Like that's how.
Oh, you're a big Lawrence Taylor guy. Like that's the thing about it is
big human guinea pig.
It
guy.
never affects him on play.
Big human guinea pig guy.
Big Lawrence.
Well, you gotta understand though.
Is that you, DB? Never affects him on play. Wow.
Well, you gotta understand though. It didn't affect my play.
I gotta. It's amazing, Daniel. No. By the way, he was on television last night.
Captain Jack Sparrow?
Yes.
For what?
Pirates of the Caribbean. It was.
Okay.
It was like one of the ones that has a lot of words after it, so it wasn't the first one.
Okay.
It was like
the first one does
Dead Man Jumping or the Off the Plank Walking or whatever. Captain Sparrow's Treasure. It had a lot
Dead
of
Man's
things,
Chest.
that or something like that.
At World's End.
That's another one, right?
So the first one actually has the most words.
Stranger's Tides.
Okay.
The first one has the most words. It's
I'm gonna need
the
you to.
curse
I'm
of
gonna need
the
you to stop
Black
it.
Pearl. That's 6 words.
See?
At World's End is only 3.
Oh, the nice guy.
Dead Man's Chest is only 3.
nice guy.
On Stranger Tides, that's only 3. So actually, the first one has the most words behind it.
Listen,
I'm just. You good?
No.
I was just trying to be accurate.
No, you're just doing you again. It was the one where Calypso, he was like prominent, the guy with all the scars and stuff. And
Calypso, I think, is 2, is the second one.
And the guy with the tentacles, and
David
they were all
Jones.
arguing, and they were all following a couple of things like a ship, or they said follow the Dutchman all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't.
You're like super locked in.
It was CC. It was closed captioning. And I was trying to simmer down.
Did it have the Kraken in it?
Shane, I only literally saw
I think the Davy Jones and
10 minutes, and they were jumping back and forth, and the dude that was dressed like Napoleon got stabbed.
Yeah, I believe that's At World's End.
And the guy that had seaweed on his face and a couple of
It's
funny
the second one. I don't remember if that's At World's End or Dead Man's
That's
Chest.
that's the one. That's all I'm saying. I don't really want to know. I don't really want to know.
Dead Man's Chest is the second one.
Okay.
At World's End
so
is
Dead
the
Man's Chest.
third one because that has Chow Yun-Fat in it.
Has what?
An actor by the name of Chow Yun-Fat.
I thought he said Italian fat. I was like, is that what they put in
I
my
really,
chorizo?
I was trying to be a jerk. I really
Chow
didn't hear-
Yun-Fat must be the guy, the Calypso.
No, I don't think so.
He looked like he had some.
He had some what? He looked like he had some what?
Shane, I'm assuming Chow Yun-Fat is of Asian descent.
That is a fair assumption.
Okay. So the guy that had the scars on his face did too. He actually.
Who plays Calypso? I'm trying to figure this out here. I don't think the guy that plays Calypso.
Maybe is Calypso the woman?
I think Calypso's the girl. Yeah.
Oh.
Naomi Harris.
So every time I read the closed caption, it said Calypso, but she was talking to that dude, so I didn't know who was who. And I didn't assume Calypso as a feminine name.
Yeah. No, I think it's.
Does that make sense?
No, I get you.
It's an honest mistake.
Yeah. Now there is a person of.
Is Kyle messing with?
It appears.
See, I can't trust. See, you guys will just tell me stuff,
Mhm.
and I don't believe any of it to be true.
So there does appear to be
But
somebody.
Kyle has been good to me, so I'm gonna
Asian
rock with that.
descent in the cast, but he's just listed as cannibal #1. So I don't know if that's.
No, this guy actually was a prominent role.
Okay. I don't think there were any prominent Asians in Dead Man's Chest.
Well, maybe he wasn't Asian. Maybe it just I squinted.
Maybe the makeup was a little. Maybe you what?
Squinting.
Oh, okay.
You know, like I wasn't seeing it.
Okay.
Oh, you're funny. See?
No, I thought you said something else. I thought you said something else.
Don't matter to me.
I thought you said something else. So I was,
This thing doesn't stand a chance. I need a new stress ball.
no, it's fine. It's fine.
I see what you're trying to do.
Is it Orlando Bloom?
No.
Okay.
Like the character, he's a popular character. I don't know why you're not Googling him.
I am. I'm looking
correctly.
at the entire cast. I don't know who you thought was Asian in the second.
He
one.
had two big scars on his face. He
Okay.
had like these big black pupils. He was bald. He looked like a guy that would play like Genghis Khan in a movie.
Who has scars in Dead Man's Chest?
You see, you're the worst Googler ever. Do you know the name of the movie?
Yeah.
Then look at the cast.
I was looking at the cast.
Click on IMDb.
I'm looking at the whole cast. This is the whole cast. These are normal looking people though. All these people look normal to me.
What does normal mean? I'm offended.
I mean, they're not in makeup or anything. I assume the actor doesn't have the scars that the character does.
You're doing it wrong. Go back to the movie.
JR says you're thinking of At World's End.
Who? Who said that?
Justin says that.
Oh, well, he has some sense, so I'm going to believe him. Type in At World's At World's End.
So
Type in that.
You do have Chow Yun-Fat. That is the Asian gentleman. And was it that guy?
I don't know why you can't just goddamn do what you're told. So what
I
you
literally
do is
just At World's End cast. What do you want me to Google, DB?
IMDb, and they'll show you what the actual characters look like, and not just the actors without makeup.
Okay.
Jiminy Christmas, is it that hard?
It is that hard.
Apparently.
We're going.
Man, I don't even want to know now.
Okay. Good talk. God, that's a long movie. That's almost a 3-hour movie.
Hey, you ever try to put a 6-year-old to bed?
No.
No, that's true. You haven't.
I was gonna say, I can't say I have.
All right. I feel like I need my BP checked.
I'm just saying. So the cast here on IMDb also just the regular pictures. I'm not really sure what you want me to do here.
Well, you gotta understand though.
I want you to get a running start and try to jump through that window.
Definitely not gonna do
That's
that.
what I want you to do.
It actually has a 7.1 rating. That's not bad.
Or better yet, you should run off the stage and see if you can clear Shane's clubhouse.
I don't think I can there.
I think you should give it a try.
I think you should give it a try.
Well, I might.
Why don't you go talk to Daniel and see if he can help you out a little bit?
No. No, he drives me crazy too. You know what that weirdo said to me? Some people just get under my skin.
What did he say to you?
In typical Daniel fashion. Just a reminder today, I'm hilarious. That's actually why you like me. Who says that?
Yeah.
He's nuts.
So Rico gave us a whole breakdown of what the movies are, and Curse of the Black Pearl is the longest title there. But
So does Rico know who I'm talking about?
I don't think so. I don't think anybody knows who you're talking about. There's one Asian guy in 5 movies.
So there's a scene like on the ship, and he was like trying to kiss Calypso, and then he ends up dying.
Okay.
And he whispers something to her, and the guy that was part of his crew said, "What did he say to you?" And she didn't say. And then she goes up on the deck of the ship, and she tries to give some orders. But the dude said something to her before he died under under. I was going to say under the ship. It's not under the ship.
Under the sea?
See?
Was it this guy?
No.
Okay, because I Googled who whispers to Calypso. That's what it came up with. I don't know.
I'm going to find it, and I'm going to really lose my mind.
All right.
That's fine.
Let me know what you Google to find it.
I don't have time because we have to go to break for me to find it.
All right. Do you want to go to break now so you can find it?
No, because it's only 8:52, and then it screws up my body clock.
I mean, we can take breaks whenever we want now, DB.
Yeah, I understand, but I have to pace myself when you get under my skin, so I do these techniques quietly. And if we take a break too soon, I'll have shot my shot.
Okay. You want to talk about the middle class of the Big Ten?
Well, we can at least introduce it.
Okay.
Because, yeah, I need to find that guy in that movie. So you know where you threw me?
Where's that?
Counting out the words to the movie titles.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
that really pissed me off.
It was all downhill after that.
Yeah.
Well, it just wasn't accurate.
Got my nose running like I do coke. Man.
So we're going to talk about all these teams in the Big Ten. Because as we've mentioned with multiple guests over the last few weeks, we've had this conversation that you've got Todd too. Anyway, so you've got the top three.
Well, why am I the only one he says anything remotely disparaging to? Todd's like the biggest cheerleader, and I get Jen. He vouched for Shane eating gummy bears with a sandwich, and I get Jen.
So you've got the top of the Big Ten. You got Oregon.
Thank you, KB.
Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State. And then it seems sort of a free-for-all between 4 and almost 10.
So this is – I know you hate to go back and listen to audio because
yeah, it's the worst way to do that.
You like to move goalposts.
Or I just like to accurately recall what I said, but that's fine.
It's potato. It seems like with our media guys and a couple of the national guys, Illinois is getting the benefit of the doubt to be slotted 4th.
Yep.
5th has been anywhere from, well, it's only been 2 teams, USC and Michigan.
Yeah.
So safe to say that 1 through 5 is Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan / USC, Illinois, or Illinois, Michigan / USC.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not willing to concede that necessarily.
What is, okay.
I think Illinois.
What's been the consensus of the top 5 to 6 teams so far?
Well, I understand that what other people have said, but I thought we were going to do this too.
We are, but what I said is what I said was according to the people that we talked to as a starting point, as a frame of reference.
Right. I just don't
Does
want
that
us
make sense?
I just don't want us to say that's a given. That's what they said. That's fine.
That's all I was saying.
I just don't want us to go into that with
Can you see if this will go around my head?
Presupposition. Let me see what I can do. I'm trying to help.
No, you're not. You're not.
I didn't want to have presuppositions about where we were landing on this because I don't know that I don't personally agree.
I need Sasha to get here fast.
I think the 4th place team is close. 4th and 5th, apparently, according to the consensus that we talked to, are closer to the rest of the pack than
somebody has to go there, right? Like, why is that? Okay, I'm gonna stop giving it credence. I know. What
hey,
you're
by
doing.
the way, everybody that is saying
I know. What
everybody's giving you the character in the in the stream there. It's the guy that I said. If that's the guy, it's Italian Fat.
He no disrespect to Wyatt, he seems like the closest chance based on what I described.
Okay.
He seems like the closest chance. Except the guy's bald in this movie. And you can always wear things to make you appear to be bald, but the character is bald.
Okay.
That's just why I'm like, don't look at the regular actors.
That's the only people I know how to look at. Shane, I don't know what to do. I don't know what you want me to do. I'm very familiar with the Curse of the Black Pearl. Any of them after that, it's a little dicey for me.
All right, Wyatt, please bail me out. Please, sweet baby Jesus.
Why would Wyatt know?
Yes, that's the dude.
That's Italian Fat.
That's the dude.
Yeah, that's the Asian guy.
Thank you, Wyatt.
There you go.
Idiots.
I mean, I told you there was like one Asian guy in the entire franchise.
No,
I told you the name like 35 minutes
now
ago.
everybody knew. We're still why were we still guessing the goddamn character?
That was entertaining.
Because you were describing stuff that I don't think he did in that movie.
It's exactly what he did in the movie.
Allegedly. We'll be back more at Sports Live.
No, we won't.
Well, it was a dream come true for Noah Cameron. Let's talk about your MLB debut, something that's been so many years in the making for you.
Yeah. Obviously you just can't make it up. It was obviously a super special day, just with family and everybody that was there. Obviously having my son and just everybody there to support was awesome. Thankfully it went well. Some people can't say the same. So thankfully it went well. And they just welcomed me with open arms, and it was a ton of fun.
Okay, we've got a lot to cover. I want to go over the call first. When did you hear that you'd be going up to KC?
Yeah, I pitched on the Saturday here in AAA and kind of got pulled early, so we kind of were hoping for it, I guess. And then Sunday they kind of told me, hey, Reagan's isn't going to start, and you're going to go Wednesday, and we were ready for it. The George called me into his office, him and Dane, and told me, and it was super special. Embraced me with hugs and just a good congratulations, and we were ready for it.
Here with Austin Kaiser following Bennington's 3-1 win over Lexington, sending you guys back to the Class B state title game. As a senior, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. We put in a lot of work this season, and I want to go out with a bang, so hopefully Tuesday is a bang.
Yeah. Keegan Happ got things started really early, 3 minutes in. How did that set the tone for today's game for you guys?
Yeah, I said it before. I believe in you. I want you to take this kick. He buried it. We knew after that it was going to be a fun game, and we just put our chances in.
And you knew it wasn't just going to be a 1-0 game. Lexington tied this game up early, and it was you at the response. 36 goals coming into state, and you made your mark tonight. What's made you so dangerous this season?
Just my teammates. We've been playing with them for so long. We got a lot of chemistry. And, we're excited. We're excited to be back, and we're going to go out with a bang, like I said.
To see a freshman steal this game off for you guys celebrated him pretty hard. What did that mean to share that moment with him?
Oh, it was beautiful. First goal of the season, a screamer. It was beautiful.
State title game coming this week. What would it mean for you to finally bring a state title back to Bennington?
It means a lot. It would be the first one for soccer, so just got to be prepared, locked in. We'll be ready.
Yeah, thanks. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A successful financial future is built one coin at a time. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned saver, we've got the financial resources and team of experts who will be with you every step of the way. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
like to score a goal like that in this atmosphere? And then you immediately ran over to your team and all the fans. What was that moment like for you?
It was a great experience. I can't really describe it right now, but in my head, like, I'm just happy for myself. I'm happy for everyone, and thank you for everyone that was out here supporting us.
It's been since 2011 that this team's going to play for a title. Why is it this group that's been so special to get back to this point?
I think we're just a really experienced group. We've been playing clubs since we were little. I think that chemistry has been building over time, you know. So that's what has helped us up throughout this whole season, since like high school year, and all the seniors. You know, we're losing 8 seniors this year. I'm just happy we're making it back to the chip just for them.
Give me that cheddar, getting Rico. Big money rolls like burritos. Give me that hot sauce, no pico. Give me that.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Central Federal Credit Union. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you to get out here on Tuesday. That means kids eat free with the purchase of an adult entree. DB might need a little relief with kids eating free today after
you wouldn't have to pay for a thing.
Him stressing himself out a little bit out here. It's all right. He went out and touched some grass, so he got a little more grounded after that situation out there. It's fine. You know, it's gonna be all right.
Again,
you doing all right?
Kobe, I did believe Shane. What I said was that would be the closest to the character I'm describing. You guys then proceeded to gaslight this thing and make it seem like I was being racist, like there could only be one Asian correlation.
No, my issue was
so I got off of it.
The scene that you were describing didn't match up with what I knew.
It's exactly what happened. That dude, Italian fat, whispered to the young lady
I don't think that's
something before he died.
Italian fat.
Yes.
He's one of my favorite actors of all time.
It's fantastic. We've talked about him before, Shane.
Big crouching tiger guy?
I just need you to enunciate better.
Italian fat.
Yeah,
yeah, it still sounds a lot like Italian fat. It really does.
Well, it's how he said it. But anyway. Like I described
so I roll
the scene
roll my
perfectly.
C's.
What?
No, I what? You're saying I roll my C's?
You can't talk because I'm gonna murder you too. I'll be doing this show. Hey, get Rico in. You said Rico can run the board, right?
I think so. He's run boards before.
Can he run the board and just like do we could just use him like as a third wheel and I find a new co-host?
Probably. Austin would take my job.
I don't know if he would last either.
I feel like you would strangle him.
Maybe it's a me thing, but I'm the only nice one.
Well, look at what Johnny said on the screen.
Oh, he's nuts. Do I even want to do this?
No.
Oh, no, he didn't.
No, you don't want to look at the screen. Don't look at the screen, DB. Don't look.
It's fine. It's totally fine. That is exactly who he is.
So the middle class of the Big Ten.
Wow.
I'm just laughing because that's a hell of a changeover. Segue. I'm laughing at the segue.
And Johnny's the type of dude who's backpatting right now. He's like, yeah, I got that SOP. It's fine. It's fine.
So, middle class of the Big Ten.
Oh, my gosh.
We're talking about.
By the way, it is free. Did you see how far I walked that fast?
I saw you get out there pretty good. I wasn't sure if you were coming back. I was like, am I going to have to drop the laptop off at your house or... You forgot the phone, too, so I might have to.
That's fine. I wasn't going to need to call anybody. Insurance policy is freshened up. Wow. How are we going to get through the rest of the week when we have to break down these teams?
No, it'll be fine. So we're going to talk about Illinois. We're going to talk about Indiana. We're going to talk about Washington.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we got a little time here before we talk to Eddie Garcia at 9:45. Talk a little hockey coming up here today.
Said chop young Jen.
That's a different thing.
That's why I don't mess with the comments sometimes. 67 yards for no gain. Okay, Johnny. Dude's on a roll. That's fine.
It's like that Marion Barber run where he's like back in the end zone, flipping back and forth, and just
It's not what it's like.
You're not a big Marion Barber guy, though, are you?
Nope. Nope, I'm not.
More of a Lawrence Maroney guy.
Sure.
You didn't love the dual backs, the two-headed monster up in Minnesota? Big Golden Gophers guy?
Because I'm trying to tell you that Minnesota's good, or because you couldn't just use our own wee-backs in Nebraska?
Well, listen, I was just thinking about doing all the switchbacks from the, that was a Dallas Marion Barber run, not a Minnesota one, but then I made the correlation to Lawrence Maroney. And do you need a hug? Is that what's happening? Or what? Do you okay? Do you need a hug? Is that what's happening?
Oh, no.
Okay. I was like,
it just, I
didn't know if you were.
It helps with tension.
Like, I
didn't even realize. The whole camera thing's pissing me off now, too.
That seems like you'd be tighter. Like you're just like.
I don't want you to break down what I'm doing with my own
I'm
physiology.
Shane, you want to pop up the graphic here to talk about the Big Ten?
I wish we had Italian fat graphic.
We don't have Italian fats graphics.
Hey, Shay.
I'm trying to talk about football. I don't know what you guys are doing.
I got to get this out.
Okay.
Shane, are you intentionally saying it like an idiot?
No, but our guy is jumping in to do it. I think he's kind of loading it up there.
Okay.
Okay. What's the actor's name, Shane?
Chow Yun Fat.
Okay.
That's what I said. I didn't say Italian. I just said nothing about
the last time
nothing about Italian sausage. Nothing about any of that kind of stuff.
I'm the only one trying to talk about football here.
You started the whole thing.
I'm just trying to talk. No, you brought up Pirates of the Caribbean because you were watching it last night.
No, I was talking
and
about
there's
Amazing
nothing wrong with that.
Daniel.
That's a good movie. There's nothing wrong with watching those.
The first one's good. The last other ones are
No,
good.
the second one's good. Third one's good. I mean, it goes downhill after that. The last one's terrible, but
So much like
the shark one is terrible.
much like the
I know
Big
you like
Ten,
sharks.
much like the Big Ten, Pirates of the Caribbean falls off after the top three. Is that what you're telling me, Shane?
Yes.
Are we going to act like
I'm trying
we
to talk
didn't
about,
try to pick the consensus top five, and you needled me to say, well, we're not good. That's not our top five, when I clearly said the guys that we've talked to in the past 3 weeks, that has been the consensus.
Yeah,
well, I'm just trying to make sure
they
that we
feel a
did,
certain
that
way.
they didn't think that that
well,
was.
so when you say
But
our,
because I've asked you for 2 weeks and you haven't hard lined a top five.
that's because I don't think there is a hardline top five. I think there's a hardline.
You have to start with some sort of a supposition.
I think there's a hardline top three, and then after that, I think it's a free for all.
Okay.
I don't think it's 3 and then 4 and 5 and then a free for all. I think it is top 3 and then jumbled mess. That's the point I wanted to make. I don't think Illinois and Michigan are in a different class, or USC are in a different class than everybody else in the Big Ten.
Do you see what I'm doing?
Yeah, I do. I appreciate that.
I'm covering it up.
Just cover it up.
Because Justin just tried to
just get it out of there.
It's childish, JR. It's childish.
I don't think there's a difference between Illinois, Michigan, USC, and the rest of the middle of the pack that we're talking about. That's why I made that distinction.
Okay, which is fine, because when I wanted to first do that, I'm not messing with Evan either. He's on text.
Yeah.
This dude.
You can't say Evan's not nice. Like, he's the nicest person.
No, but he's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the reasons where this thing came out yesterday when I called you, and I was like, hey, if the middle of this Big Ten is going to be so dicey, let's start with teams that Nebraska doesn't play as a separator to see if we can kind of forecast.
Because you don't get the head-to-head.
You don't get the head-to-head.
Like, if Nebraska beats Minnesota, we're like, all right, they passed
That's
them.
cool.
They beat Iowa. Okay, they passed them.
Yeah.
But you've got Illinois, Indiana, Washington. They don't play Nebraska. So how do we determine?
Would you agree that those are 3 teams that they're going to have to wade through? Or you're not counting Washington?
Not Washington, because I think they're in a very similar spot as Washington. So I think Washington and Nebraska are starting about at the same level. I think Illinois and Indiana are currently ahead. So Illinois and I think Nebraska and Washington are both trying to pass Illinois and Indiana, if that makes sense.
Okay. So we're thinking playoff format, play-in games, get to the top 6, which, by the way, is aggravating because you know how we got here is the reason that I didn't want to get here because what's the one thing that I said about playoff expansion if you do this? I hate AQs. I don't.
Especially when all conferences aren't playing by the same rules.
From day one, I've never liked auto qualifiers unless everybody's doing the same thing.
Yeah, playing the same no conference games, whole thing.
Now, if all of a sudden ESPN and the Disney and all that are going to pay for an extra conference, shouldn't even be that way, pay for a 9th conference game
play for
the
proper
SEC,
amount of conference games, yeah.
Then we can kind of have that discussion.
Yeah.
But as we've seen other conference commissioners from the ACC and it's going to be hard to get them on board with the certain number of slots.
Yeah.
Right? And why would you?
Yeah, why would you agree to that?
So anyway, if Nebraska's going to work their way into this top 6, and I get it, it's not a hard top 6. It's kind of mythical because we've only agreed on the top 3 teams.
Yep. I wasn't going to push back this time.
Then this is where you have to start the conversation.
Yeah, I think you have to start it with teams that Nebraska doesn't play that you're going to get into. And you seem to be a little higher on Washington than I am. So I kind of want to start there because you're really high on Williams, their quarterback. Small sample size last year. The numbers are good. The highlights are like the highlights and the kind of the game tape from last year are good as well. I just don't know how comfortable I am extrapolating that. You know, it seems like there was a lot of
you more comfortable at Maava?
No, I'm not comfortable with Maava either. That's why I don't feel good about the people that are putting USC in the top 5. I don't feel good about Maava at all. And maybe it's just I've got too much of last year's, especially first quarter against Nebraska on the brain. But Maava seems like a weird fit for Lincoln Riley.
So why are you out on Illinois? You just don't think they were very good last year, or are you letting the Vegas win total sway you?
I think the Vegas win total is interesting because Vegas doesn't miss a lot. I kind of learned my lesson from Iowa last year where, like, they had that thing dead on, and I get Iowa still got to the 8.
Well, how about you don't even need to go that far. How about 2 years ago where we thought that they lowballed Nebraska incredibly, and Nebraska didn't get there?
Yeah, like 5.5 or 4.5, whatever it was, and Nebraska didn't make it. So, yeah, like I've learned my lesson with Vegas where on the win totals, they're pretty close. So if they've got Illinois and Nebraska both at 7.5, that gives me a little bit of pause. A lot of it is also – and I know it's a different coach, so I'm giving a little bit of hesitation here. Illinois really doesn't do well with success. They really struggle as a program historically being good back-to-back years. I think I read you the stat.
Yeah.
They've made back-to-back bowl games one time since 1992. That was under Ron Zook. I believe they went 7-6 each year, so not really spectacular results there. It's a really challenging thing for me to say, hey, they're all of a sudden going to overcome that. That's who they've been for 30-plus years. So that's part of it. The other part of it is I do wonder if they're the hunted instead of the hunter. That changes things a little bit in terms of how teams prepare.
You do realize, though, with Illinois, that's the last team you have to extrapolate with.
Yes, they've got the
18
most
starters.
Yeah, absolutely.
The most coming back.
No major coaching changes.
Nope.
Nothing to like. They're the most known. Now, that probably is a positive for them, but there are times if everybody else got a little bit better, then staying pat doesn't help you necessarily, right? So that's a thing that I have in the back of my head as well. But I really do think a lot of it for me is just it's a different dynamic when you can't sneak up on anybody.
Okay.
I think Illinois snuck up on some
Does
teams
it
last year.
Does it change your opinion knowing that Washington has over 50% of their production coming back? Does that number seem high or low to you?
I would say I would have guessed no, it's about right.
Okay.
I think,
Okay.
you know, because Williams didn't have the huge sample size, so I wouldn't expect his production to be a huge part of that.
How about Indiana bringing back? Now they did hit the portal hard again, but they do have 60% of their production coming back.
And Coleman and Boston are back for Washington too, right?
Yeah.
So those are pretty
really good running back.
Yeah, and Boston's a really good receiver for them as well. So like 50% seems about right.
Okay, what about 60 for Indiana?
I would have guessed that's a little high considering you're losing Rourke. Like that seems high to me, with losing your starting quarterback who was really good last year.
And then obviously Illinois.
Whatever.
Okay.
80-90%, whatever that number is.
80.
So yeah,
you lost
Bryant, and then you lost McCray in the portal to Georgia, I think. So, but those are really the only two guys, and they had sort of a stable of running backs there. But Bryant, I do think matters a lot. Like Bryant was really good for them last year. Like that, I think is a.
Well, let's start with Illinois' record or their schedule.
Okay.
Okay, you got Western Illinois coming off a 4-8 season. Win?
Yes.
Okay. Duke, tricky.
Duke is tricky.
Coming off a 9-3 season. And Duke likes their quarterback spot.
Yeah, because they got Mensah over from Tulane.
Yep.
So, I mean, that to me is a real coin flip. Like I think that's like a true. I think that could go either way. I don't have a good feel on that one and who's going to win that.
Okay, so
it's at Duke. Let's call it a loss. If I call it a true 50-50.
Really? Okay. Listen, not shocked. And you don't have to predict it now. I'm just a mental run through.
Yeah, I'm trying to just break.
Okay, Western Michigan coming off a 6-6 season.
I think that's a win.
Okay, Indiana.
So I think we're looking at another real 50-50 game.
It's in Bloomington.
So I'm probably going to go a loss there again.
Okay. Purdue.
We're skipping USC.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, USC. It's at home.
Again, I'm going to go win there since it's at home. So
okay,
that's 3-2.
You're on the road to West Lafayette.
I'm going to take a win there.
You're at home to the Ohio State.
That's a loss. That puts me at 4-3, I believe.
Man, this might have a lot to do with how you feel about them. They go to Seattle.
So I'm going to take them over Seattle or over Washington. I'm not as high on Washington as you are.
Okay. Interesting.
So that puts me at 5-3.
At the house against Rutgers.
That's a win.
At home against Maryland.
Win.
Now, this next team I've talked about off air a ton.
This one's weird.
I just said this again when I had to go and I was going to say chew on some grass, but I'm not using chew. I'm not using any of that. I had to go touch some grass.
Yeah.
I think Wisconsin is one of these weird teams that no one talks about, except for how soon will their coach be fired.
Yeah.
They're a total afterthought.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks about Wisconsin. Right?
That's an easy trip-up game.
And it's at Camp Randall.
At this point in the schedule, at Camp Randall for them, that's an easy trip-up
Late
game.
in November.
I'm going to call it a win, but that's a game I'd be worried about.
Then you get Northwestern at home.
And I'm going to call that a win.
So it seems like.
So that's 9-3.
And you get a couple of gimmies.
Yeah.
It seems like the win total is not that far off.
I mean,
but you got them beaten. You took some leaps.
They very easily could lose to SC.
They could easily lose 2 of those games.
They could easily lose at least 2. They could easily lose at Washington, against SC at home. I think at Wisconsin's tricky. So if I even go 2 of those, all of a sudden it's 7 wins. If I go 1 of those, it's 8 wins. So the 7.5 feels about right.
It feels right.
So yeah, I don't think they're going to be bad, but I do think it might be 7 or 8 rather than 9 or 10.
Do they have the best quarterback, in your opinion, of the 3 teams we're going to talk about?
Ooh,
I know
that's
you
tough.
took the deep dive.
That's tough.
You spent most of your time watching Mendoza, right?
Yeah, I felt like I knew Altmaier in Illinois, so I didn't take a ton of time.
And
DeMond
D. Wills is
small sample size.
Yeah, you didn't have to watch a ton,
but I didn't have a ton to watch.
That's what.
Yeah.
I mean, 2.5 games probably.
Yeah, and so I watched a decent amount of Williams, but I don't feel like I have enough there to extrapolate and feel really good about it. I will say out of those 3, I'll take Altmaier because it's the most known, and I feel really good about his comfortability in the system. And I was higher on him last year than most people. I was like, hey, Altmaier's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I will take Altmaier, but there's definitely a world in which he's 3rd out of those 3. If Mendoza and Williams are who we think they can be, he could be 3rd in that group. That doesn't mean bad, but those other 2 guys could be really good.
All right, so let's take Indiana next because they have an 8.5 projected win total.
I think that one's high.
It seems
that one seems high.
High.
I think they should be 7.5 with everybody else.
But let's get into it.
But I would say let's get into the deep dive of the schedule because I looked way more at rosters than I did schedule.
All right, so we had the Fighting Nick Boz.
Kansas?
No. Old Dominion. It's gonna always be funny.
Always till the day I die. I'm gonna call it a win at Their non-cons.
It is
embarrassing.
trash.
It's embarrassing.
So just keep that in mind.
Like Signetti should be embarrassed by this.
Listen,
you're not a James Madison anymore. These aren't real teams.
Before we trash Signetti, what's his incentive?
To play good games.
He was rewarded a year ago.
He was, yeah.
What's his incentive?
I don't know that they'll do it twice. Also, he was rewarded a year ago because he only lost one game. If he loses 2 games, he doesn't make it.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
So we like the Fighting Nick Boss.
Yeah, we can just go 3-0 on the non-con. I'm fine with that.
So it's Old Dominion, Kennesaw State, Indiana State.
Yeah, it's total trash.
Now they get Indiana at home, and you called that?
I called that a win for Indiana.
Okay. Then they're on the road at Iowa.
I'm going to call that a loss.
Okay.
I think I'm going to call that a loss.
You just haven't given me I don't get a feel that you have a ton of respect for Iowa. I do, of course.
I have
as the Iowa.
We haven't talked about Iowa that much.
I know. So when we do
I don't feel like I've been disrespectful.
So when we do actually who Nebraska plays, they're going to be one of the 3.
Yeah.
Because to pick 3 games for Nebraska was hard.
Yeah.
Because of they have some crucial 3-game stretches.
Yeah.
But I think I got the right 3 when we get to Nebraska.
Okay. I'm going to say that's a loss for Indiana.
Okay.
At Iowa City, yeah.
At Oregon.
That's a loss.
So already we've got
4
2 L's.
Yeah, we're 4-2.
Okay. They get Michigan State at the house.
That's a win.
You big Chillis guy?
I'm more of a Jonathan Smith guy.
I am too. But it's on, Michigan State's got to come there.
Yeah.
You get UCLA at home.
I really don't know what to do with UCLA.
So I wanted to make them one of the 3. I don't know if I will, though.
I really don't know what to do with UCLA.
Do you guys want us to go through UCLA? There's so many interesting
I think
teams.
they're fascinating. I think UCLA is fascinating. I mean, we'll go through all of Nebraska's schedule at some point, right?
Yeah.
So,
but for the sake of this exercise, I have to pick 3 teams that I think Nebraska has to jump.
Has to pass, yeah. Because you can't go, like, Penn State's already ahead of them, so you don't have to worry about
doing that.
But you can do, like, are you doing Minnesota?
So
are
here's
you doing UCLA?
so
are you
you
doing
want
USC?
you want the ones that are on the table?
Yeah.
Iowa, UCLA, Minnesota, USC.
Yeah. I think Minnesota's the least interesting of that group.
Why are you sleeping on? I'm not going to get distracted.
I think they're the least interesting of that group.
I think you're crazy.
I don't know what to do.
You're going to rue. How can you be dismissive? I got to say this.
I don't feel like I'm being dismissive.
Of a team that's beat Nebraska 5 times in a row.
Just because I don't think they're interesting doesn't mean I don't think they can beat Nebraska. I don't think they're terribly interesting because, like,
you have to win that game.
Absolutely, you do. You have to win that game. That's why I don't think it's that interesting because, like, you can lose to UCLA, USC, or Penn State and Iowa, and you can sort of always understand. Iowa less so.
I don't think you can. You can't lose to Iowa.
Not if you are who you want to be, but people,
especially at home, you got to stop doing that.
People will understand those losses more so than Minnesota.
No, they won't.
I don't know. I think Minnesota is not interesting because it's like Nebraska has to win that game.
Can I just say this? You think Nebraska will be Nebraska fans will be more understanding to go to Minneapolis and not win than they will losing to Iowa at home the last game on Black Friday?
Probably not. No.
Okay.
Probably not.
I wanted to give you a chance to go back.
Probably not.
Okay.
I think in general, Nebraska fans view Iowa as a better program than Minnesota. That's more what I meant.
Okay. That's fine.
Not the individual.
I'm not going to hold you.
Yeah, not the individual game so much as I think Nebraska fans think Iowa's a better program.
Okay. So they go on the road to Maryland. And you already have them with 2 losses.
Yeah, I think they beat Maryland.
They go to Happy Valley.
That's a loss.
Okay, so there's 3.
Yeah.
They get Wisconsin back home.
I'm going to call it a win since it's at home.
No time off. So they're going November 8th to Happy Valley, right back home to Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm going to call it a win since it's at home.
Okay, and then at Purdue.
Yeah, so I've got them a win, so that's 9-3.
Okay.
But, again, I've got UCLA and Michigan State as real toss-ups.
But they don't seem like they should be toss-up games.
Only if you think Indiana is who they were last year, and I don't.
But they're both at home.
That's fine. People lose home games.
Yeah, but there's nothing to go on that says either one of those teams should get the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, UCLA, the way they played last year was a tough team.
Yeah, but Indiana, like, were kicking people's asses.
I understand that. I don't think that's who they really are long term. That's who they were last year, and that's great.
Okay, let's get back to this Mendoza thing that you went down the Bugs Bunny. Was he better or worse than you thought? Or did you have a hard time with the competition?
I had a hard time with the competition. A lot of the stuff I was watching was...
Well, how'd you view Cal?
I like Justin Wilcox.
Me too, even though this is probably his last year.
So that's kind of the context I was viewing it in. I go, okay, is Cignetti and new offensive coordinator better than Wilcox in Cal? I did like seeing Isaiah Hunter out there a little bit. That made me feel good.
Hey.
That dude can play. That dude can play.
Listen,
I feel like we kind of forget about him.
What I tell you?
Like you got
we hop on the dang key train, and rightfully so. That dude was open a ton this offseason.
Yeah,
man. Listen,
I think Isaiah Hunter is really good,
and he's about that life.
Yeah. So I
ask those DBs.
I think Mendoza can be.
They'll end up fighting that dude in one of these practices.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You can't be spinning the ball in people's faces. You can't. You cannot spin a ball off a dude's chest after you cook him at the pylon.
So you know the thing I had the most trouble with was actually Rourke's jump.
Can I say something about him?
Yeah.
If you watched him play on a torn ACL, he would scramble and get a first down, and I would literally be like, how?
Yeah.
He doesn't look good, doesn't throw a great ball. He was eerily accurate.
Yeah.
Some of those 50-50 balls that Surratt and those guys were coming down with, I was like, damn.
And that's a little bit what I wonder about with Mendoza. Like,
so why can't Cignetti do that with Mendoza?
Well, so that's the thing.
Because Mendoza's and I've told you this.
He's better talent.
He's
the
better talent.
The thing I had a hard time with is like, okay, Rourke was really old.
Yeah, like just his cool, like he
super
was super
experienced,
he's cool,
super cool. Like,
well, Mendoza's a third-year guy.
Yeah, but Rourke was a 6-year guy.
No,
you know what I mean. So like, there's
where's the
talent level is definitely higher for Mendoza. Yeah. That's no question. I don't know if the accuracy is better for Mendoza, and I do think that was a huge part of Rourke's success. I don't like we say system quarterback disparagingly, but I think his particular skill set within that system was really advantageous. And so Mendoza's a little different. I think he's got the better overall arm talent, but I don't know if he specifically skill set wise fits in to make some of those throws as consistently. Because that was the thing that killed, like, it seemed like Rourke made every single throw he had to make.
Can Nebraska, let me go back to because I got to ask this question with Indiana too. Based on Illinois' schedule and where you think they'll finish, can Nebraska jump Illinois?
Yes.
Okay. So based on where we're at with Indiana, can Nebraska jump Indiana?
I think yes, but
how? Okay. And I'm not disagreeing. No. You just have to put it to the numbers.
No, I know. So here's the thing. I gave them a 9-3, but if either one of those games, either Michigan State or UCLA, goes the other way, all of a sudden it's very doable.
Okay, so you have to remember this with Nebraska's schedule because to be in the ballpark of the discussion, you're putting Nebraska minimum at 8.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine. I'm not disagreeing or agreeing. I'm just saying, like, you have to explain the methodology. Because if you're gonna,
I think
we always talk about where we want Nebraska to be in the Big Ten, but you have to have the conversation. Who are you getting by?
Yeah, I think 8 or 9 is very much in the discussion I'm talking about for Nebraska.
As this mumbled mess, which is why we're doing this exercise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there is a huge amount of teams that I think can be in that range.
Okay. Let's go to Washington.
Okay.
Now, I get the pushback. The low-hanging fruit is, man, DB, you're way higher on Washington than I am.
Which I think is true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's go through this, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Okay? You start at home against Colorado State.
Okay.
You like the Huskies?
Yes.
Okay. You get UC Davis at home.
Win.
Okay. You get a Washington State team that is replacing a guy you didn't like, but you will have a new signal caller in Pullman.
Yeah.
It is still the Apple Cup, but it's early.
Yeah.
It's early.
We'll mark that as one of my 50-50s. We'll call it a win for now.
Okay. You then get the Ohio State in Seattle.
That's a loss.
Okay. You go to Maryland.
I think that's actually a tricky game for them.
Could be, but I don't know how you feel about Maryland.
I don't think they're great. I do think just logistically
they have a lot to replace.
But I do think Washington logistically coming off of a really big game and then going cross country, I do think is challenging. We're going to call
and there is no bye in between.
There's no bye. It's Saturday to Saturday. You get Ohio State. You're going to get ramped up for that one, and then you go all the way across country against Maryland. Especially if that's like a close loss to Ohio State, emotionally that might be a tough spot to be in. I'm going to call it a win, but I'm keeping an eye on it.
Okay. You get Rutgers back home.
I'm going to call that a win.
I like Rutgers, but I agree with you.
At Michigan's a loss.
Huh. Okay.
I think Michigan's pretty good. I don't think they're clearly above everybody else, but I think they're pretty good.
And that's middle of October. Michigan will have had a chance to kind of settle in.
Figure out their quarterback thing. If you get Michigan, you're better off getting them early, I think.
Now you have to remember how you pegged this.
I believe that I had this as a win for Illinois.
Okay. It's in Seattle.
Yeah. I believe it's as a win for Illinois.
I vehemently had disagreed with this at first blush.
Did mark this as a game that
50-50.
was 50-50.
Okay.
So I've got them at 3 losses right now.
Are you seeing now why I question you off air about why we don't talk about this team right here at Madison?
Wisconsin? Yeah, that one's...
How many games, all 3 opponents, Wisconsin has a chance
at home
to really screw things up for any of these middle-of-the-pack teams?
Absolutely.
And
if they do...
And we do not talk about Wisconsin.
And if they do, all of a sudden, they're in the middle of the pack.
For me, they're a swing team.
Because
you see how pivotal a role that they can play.
Yeah, schedule-wise, they're going to be
they're not on Nebraska's schedule.
Schedule-wise, they're going to be in the middle of everything.
Right?
For everybody. Yeah, a swing team's a good word for Wisconsin.
But it's why, because I know you're like, well, Nebraska doesn't play Wisconsin. I'm like, but they do have a chance to pee in a lot of people's cereal.
They really do. Like if Washington is having a year you think they could have at Wisconsin in early November, could be a problem.
Are you calling that a win?
For Washington, yes.
Okay. Apparently Washington's better than you think they are.
No, I think they got a couple losses later.
All right. Purdue at the house.
That's a win.
At UCLA.
I think that's a loss.
Right down the street.
I think that's a loss.
Okay. And then Oregon at home.
Loss. So they're 8-4 with a couple 50-50s.
That's got to be better than you think.
Well, no, I don't know. I guess I don't know how.
So how high do you think Washington is?
I guess that's where I was going to go. I don't know.
Do you think most people consider Washington an 8-win team?
I don't know. It seemed the way you were talking about them that you were maybe a little higher on them than that.
I think that's.
But I didn't clarify, so that's on me.
I think that's a team like if Nebraska's going to be the Jeffersons,
you got to be moving on up.
Then somebody's got to.
So they look like a 7 or 8 win team to me, Washington, which is not a huge improvement from last year. They were 6 last year, right? 6 wins. So that's why I guess I expect them to be a little better, but I don't think they could vault into the top 4. I don't look at them as a team that could get to 4 or 5. I look at Illinois as a team that could get to 4 or 5. I even look at Indiana as a team that could get to 5. But I don't look at Washington as a team that could get into the top 4 or 5. They're sort of that next level down for me.
But we are kind of gleaning, hopefully, an appreciation for the degree of difficulty.
Yeah, these are all – I think this is a really challenging schedule for Washington because you catch Oregon, Illinois, Michigan, and Ohio State. I think of the 3 teams we talked about, that's the hardest schedule because then you still have to go at your rival Washington State. You have to go at Maryland the week after your big game against Ohio State. And you have to go at Madison the week after a big game against Illinois.
All right.
You have a bye. So you have a bye between Illinois and Wisconsin. But
so Hunter says something, and I don't know if he's getting this from me. Hunter's smart, so I assume this is his own opinion. But he says Nebraska's a 10-win team if they beat Minnesota and Iowa. Do you now understand the coincidence of why I said it has now turned into can Nebraska beat Minnesota and Iowa in the same season?
Sure.
If they do, look out.
Absolutely.
If they don't,
look out.
Look out.
Yeah.
And I just picked those 2 teams because of the way that the games have broken out.
And the way the schedule breaks out this year.
Over the last handful of years.
I mean, the way
so all the games matter.
Yeah, the way the schedule breaks out this year, those 2 games are crucial. Those 2 games are the difference between, again, we're making steady progress, we're heading in the right direction versus like, holy crap, let's go.
I think you're going to have to write this down for mental sake.
Okay.
Because if you have Washington as a potential 7-8 win team, they're squarely in the middle.
Yeah. I think that's right. I think they are.
But I don't think you went into this exercise thinking that.
I probably had them bottom middle, but definitely middle. They're not bottom of the Big Ten for sure. But I thought they were probably closer to the lower half of middle. Which at 7 they probably are, right? I mean, because we had them winning their non-con games, so 7 wins puts them bottom middle. So I think they're about where I thought they were. I think they're going to be a little better than last year, but I don't think they're going to make a leap. I think Nebraska is the team that could make a leap. I think Illinois and Indiana.
So they're not. So I think it's different.
Okay.
You know what I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Okay.
Because Lord knows you'll push back. I think what you really want to say is Illinois and Indiana will come back are more likely to come back to the pack more than 100%. Nebraska can't take the leap.
100%, yeah. Indiana especially.
Okay, because that's what you're really saying.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I think Illinois and Indiana come back to the pack a little bit. I think Illinois is more likely because of all the retention to stay about where they were last year. So I wouldn't be shocked by another 9-3, but I don't think they're going ahead anymore.
So of the 3 so far, which one took the most mental gymnastics to arrive at the conclusion?
So probably Indiana.
Based on your answers, you went through them the quickest.
Yeah, it's because I thought about them the most ahead of time, probably.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's okay.
Indiana, I think, takes the most mental gymnastics because they do have a decent amount of returning production. I do think their transfer portal class haul was pretty good. And I do think they're more talented at quarterback. So I have to think, okay, where are they going to regress? The main place that I looked at was the defensive line. They lost 4 out of 5 contributors on that defensive line.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be a real problem for them. The other thing that I look at is, okay, I didn't think the overall talent level of that roster, while it was good, wasn't spectacular last year.
Okay.
I thought it was more about coaching, at least especially in the first half of the year, sneaking up on people, and then they got confident. It kind of reminded me of the 11-2 Minnesota team from a few years back.
Yeah.
And once they kind of got past that, they got past a certain point where they believed success was a self-fulfilling prophecy for them.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
Where are we landing with Washington? 7 or 8 wins?
Let's call it 8.
With Indiana, where are we? 9? Take your time.
Let me double check. Here. I said, no, I think they're going to drop one of the 50-50 games, so I'm going to call it 8.
Okay. Illinois.
I think they're an 8 as well.
Okay. So safe to say all these teams aren't going to win 8 games.
Correct.
So the next, and we're going to do this for everybody. Who's most likely to be closest to 5? Is Washington closer to 5 or closer to 8?
Ooh, I would say Washington is the most likely to be closer to 5.
Is IU closer to 8 or closer to 5?
8.
Is Illinois closer to 8 or closer to 5?
I think 8.
Okay. So 2 of these 3 so far, and we got a ways to go, are closer to 8 than they are to 5.
Yes.
Of Illinois and Indiana, who's more apt to have the better record?
I think Illinois.
Okay. I'm going to, based on this exercise, I'm going to fill in what I think you think the order is.
Okay.
So you have Illinois above
Indiana.
And both Illinois and Indiana above
Washington.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. This is going to be very fun. Well, it's the best way to. It's
got to keep track of it,
and it's the best way to predict because you can't just say, "Oh man, like some other things have to happen too." Because was that Corey? Yeah, Corey's spot on. Some of these teams being discussed will inevitably have to be closer to. I don't think they have to be 5-win teams.
No, but I do think there's closer to 6 versus 10.
But they can't all be 8.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Right, the numbers just aren't going to add up.
No, I understand that.
Okay. So based on this in Nebraska's schedule, I want to give you some say-so. I think there's 2 teams that we have to take a look at before we get to Nebraska's opponents.
Okay.
Who do you think they are? One, you know.
Teams that Nebraska doesn't play.
Yep.
Wisconsin
is one. Is number one.
The other one would be Michigan?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, do you like Michigan?
I think they're in the discussion for top 4 or 5.
Nebraska does not play them.
Right, yeah. I thought we were doing teams not on. Oh, no, they play Michigan. Yeah, sorry.
There's 2 teams that we have to do before we get to who Nebraska can actually control the outcome against.
Who's the other one? Wisconsin and who?
Rutgers.
Oh.
But listen to me.
That's one I think you're way higher on than me.
Okay, but let's say I'm like lukewarm.
Okay.
They're on these guys' schedule.
Yeah.
So we have to take a look at Rutgers.
No, for sure. Yeah, we have to look
like
at them.
that's
yeah.
And again, I may be listen. I'm out here touching grass. I could be high, but I'm not as high on Rutgers as you think.
Okay. So maybe it's a Washington situation where I think.
But I do think we have to do this exercise with Wisconsin and Rutgers if we truly want to get a feel.
That's totally fair.
Is that fair?
Let me just give you a heads up. I got Rutgers below Washington.
You may be surprised.
We got Eddie Garcia coming up next. Talk a little NHL here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
For Hurrdat Sports and NEB Preps, it's Omaha South now facing Omaha West Side in the Class A State Championship, and Ryan Kubiak, the difference maker in this one. Late second half goal. Walk me through that late stretch. This was a defensive matchup through South Sioux City and Omaha South. What gave you that glimpse right to the goal where you had a chance there late?
You know, we started from the back. We went on a goal kick. I played the ball, and I make a mistake, and I'm like, oh, man. And they're on the attack, but my teammates got my back, and we win the ball back, and I'm like, man, this is our time to go. So then they play the ball to Jesus on the wing, and DJ cuts inside, and I'm just kind of trailing the play on the outside. And DJ plays me the ball, which is awesome. And then I just, one time, try to hope it goes in and went in. I'm super excited.
So you get your first goal ever for you at State. Walk me through just that moment. I mean, you walked right over to the corner to celebrate. Did you even know who you were celebrating with?
No idea, but they were awesome, though. I'm glad it went in. I'm glad I scored, man. It's just awesome feeling. I'm really happy with this team. I'm really happy with myself.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We're back here on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's DB. I'm Ravi Lulla here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are efforting Eddie Garcia to talk a little NHL, but in the meantime, we'll continue our conversation about the Big Ten and kind of Nebraska's spot in it with all these other teams that are sort of jumbled in. That 7.5 mess is what I like to call it, even though Indiana's at 8.5.
I got to ask Big Game Hunt how old he is.
There's about 6 teams.
Dude is hilarious.
That are in that. But I think it's. Was it 7 teams between 6.5 and 8.5?
Yeah. So I think this is a fascinating exercise, and you're going to learn a lot because like we say a lot of things.
Yeah, you can't just say stuff when you're actually reconciling it.
And we'll talk about this all off season. But when you actually take the time to put it to paper,
you have to get a little specific.
Not just that. You yourself or whomever is like making these forecasts, like, oh, he's older than I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Dang. So JR might be the pup. No, Kobe's the pup.
Yeah, Kobe's young.
Okay. So like you can't. Oh, Nebraska will do this, or such and such a team will do this. Like it act like.
Yeah, you have to actually reconcile it.
So far. And this is going to be subject to change, which is why I think this is fascinating to see where we wind up at. We got Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State in the top 3. You have Illinois above, and all we know after that is, so far you have Illinois above Indiana and Illinois and Indiana above Washington.
Correct.
Now we're going to slot everybody else.
Yes.
Okay, so that's and you somehow think right, wrong, or indifferent. I don't. I'll tell you later on about agreeing and disagreeing, that Nebraska is going to be the 4th best team in the Big Ten.
Yes, I do. I think they're the 4th best team in the Big Ten.
But you can't make your results fit that. We have to kind of still do the methodology that we're doing now.
Right. Yeah. But I genuinely believe that Nebraska by the end of this year will be the 4th best team in the Big Ten.
Okay, so not to be Denny Downer, but you can clearly see why I asked the same 3 questions. Iowa, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Like
basically what I'm saying is they'll lose 2 games, maybe a third. That's what you're talking about with being the 4th best team in the Big Ten.
So the 4th best team in the Big Ten, according to this, will be closer to 9 than 8.
Yes. I think if you're less than 9, unless you have some weird thing happen in the non-con and then you like went out in the. But
I think it sounds like we need to brush up on our tiebreakers.
Yes, that seems reasonable. But I'm going to look at the Big Ten standings from last year and tell you what 4th place was. 4th place was Ohio State in terms of actual
conference wins
standing. But you had a 3-loss Penn State team. You had a 2-loss Ohio State team, 2-loss Indiana, 1-loss Oregon. And then Illinois was next at 3 losses. So you probably need to be closer to 10 than 9, if we're being honest, if you're going to be 4th place. Unless we think there's a little more parity this year, and then 9's probably.
Doesn't it sound like it, though?
I think there is, yeah. Not at the top, though. At the top, we feel pretty sure about who it is, right?
Well, you're talking conference wins?
Yeah. Well, I'm talking the overall record because we're talking about 9 or 10 wins. That's a conference
because 3rd place in the conference was 7 wins.
4th place. 4th place in conference.
So you're not counting the tie of 2 8-1 teams?
Well, yeah, because it's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then 4th.
Okay, because Indiana and Penn State both won 8.
Right.
And they're both ahead of
Ohio State at 7-2.
And Ohio State's number in the conference was?
Well, they're 4th.
So 4th place had 7 conference wins.
Yeah, 2 losses. 7-2.
Okay. So these are teams Nebraska's got just based on a year ago in the conference, Ravi. They got to jump Michigan State, Washington, USC, Rutgers, Minnesota, Michigan, Iowa, Illinois.
Yeah.
That's why I asked the questions. Because I don't
understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're wrong. Like I love this. I think you'll see I'm actually, and I played it close to the vest because I don't want people to think what I think.
Yeah.
Until I actually say it. Because I'm going to give you some methodology behind it. I just don't want, because I don't want to be responsible for your feelings. That's just the way I live.
Yeah. So part of the way I look at it, just for
I hate to say that, it's just
no, I get it.
I mean, I don't want to be responsible for your feelings, but I'm just saying what we're asserting. We are very they just got to, and I'm just telling you, if Nebraska does what some people are forecasting, because a lot of people like them, they will have done something of great significance. This will not be easy.
So there's a couple things I agree.
Yes or no?
Yes. It won't be easy.
Like We talk real flippantly.
I mean, we know it's not easy, right? Because we haven't been there.
I don't know. Do we?
Well, we should know because we haven't been there in a decade.
Do we?
Right?
Mr. Minnesota, Iowa guy, do we?
Well, so the reason I don't try and talk about them as if I'm brushing them off. I talk about them as though those are givens that you have to win if they are who I think they are.
Yeah, but we're a lot more myopic with just by the wang that than we were being critical with this early schedule breakdown of other teams.
I mean, no, I gave everybody some benefit of the doubt there.
I mean, again, 5 in a row to Minnesota.
Yeah.
You cannot be dismissive about that.
I'm not, but it's a thing that has to happen if they are who I think they are.
Did you watch us go to East Lansing a couple years ago and lose that game?
I sure did.
Okay. Well, not that Michigan State's a play-on player, but
right. Part of what I'm doing here is two things. Number one is,
and this isn't me against you. This is
this is just how I'm processing.
And this is how a lot of this is
how I'm processing Nebraska.
And I started incrementally. This was very intentional. What did I start with? Can Nebraska make a move?
Can they beat Iowa and
the position? I was very specific.
Which one?
This started with quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Dylan's got to be the dude.
This started with quarterbacks. I went through all. I was
we talked to Brunts about it last week.
We talked to everybody. Yeah. This goes back 2 months. Hey, if Nebraska's going to be who they have to be, and there has to be a jump of significance at the quarterback spot from year 1 to year 2.
So
that's where I started.
So let's put it that way for a second. Let's go down this list, right?
Which one?
The teams Nebraska would have to jump that you just
all right. You want to start with Michigan State because they're the closest?
Yeah. So do you think
because they won 3?
Do you think Dylan can be better than Chillis?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think he can be better than Damon Williams?
Upside, yes.
Better than Maeva?
Yes.
Better than
Kaliak Manis?
Kaliak Manis, yes.
Yes.
Better than Brosmer, Minnesota.
This is just. Let me back up, and then we can start again. Is this if they reach their peak or what they do for their particular offense?
I think whatever.
I do think they're different.
I think that's true.
Brosmer doesn't need to be who he needs.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be for Minnesota who Dylan does for Nebraska.
Absolutely. I mean, who do you think is better this year of what's asked of them? Dylan's going to ask more.
Okay, that's a different question.
So who do you think is going to be better at doing what the offense is asking of them?
Okay, go again.
Chillis or Raiola?
Chillis.
Damon Williams or Dylan?
Williams.
Okay, so I've got one guy ahead of him. Maeva or Dylan?
Dylan.
Okay. Kaliak Manis or Dylan?
He doesn't have to do a ton. Nebraska's O-line is good. I'm going to take Dylan.
Okay. Brosmer or Dylan?
Brosmer.
That's 2. Whatever Michigan does or Dylan? Because I assume Underwood, but I don't know.
But we'll be similar.
Yeah, I think it is going to be similar.
I'll take Dylan.
Because I think Dylan's a year ahead.
I'll take Dylan.
Right? Gronowski or Dylan?
That's tough. Iowa is going to have to be a little bit more dynamic than they have been in the past, and I understand it's relative.
You're also talking about a level jump.
He's jumping conference. I got to take Dylan.
Okay. So only 2, and then Illinois. So Altmaier. Yeah. So 3 guys.
And again, the question was
who's going to
relative
be
to what they're
asked.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
And it's no coincidence that Altmaier's been in that system and Brosmer has
been in that system.
And it's a little more quarterback friendly.
Well,
than
Minnesota's not going to ask a ton.
That's what. That. Okay.
Now I do think Illinois asks a decent amount of Altmaier, but he's really good at running that RPO system for them.
Yeah.
So I understand those for sure. The Williams one with Washington's a little.
I know, but look at how Fish had what's his buckets in Arizona, looking like
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember how to pronounce his name.
I mean, they had him looking like.
Yeah. Also, conference-wise, I think it's easier to make quarterbacks look good.
That's the hard part for me.
Yeah.
That's the hard part for me.
Because like Arizona wasn't facing Big Ten defense.
Yeah, but that was a really good team. That's the team that ended up playing Oklahoma in the bowl game.
Yeah, the kid kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's how Jed Fish got the Washington job.
100%.
Like, I agree. I also am just very.
But you can see now, like
skeptical of
sequentially, like
context.
where I've been going with this.
Yeah.
Whether it's our national, because I want to know
Mm-hmm.
how we felt about the quarterbacks ahead of time, how important the quarterbacks were. How does that relate to where you think Nebraska is going to be? Like this whole thing has been.
So let me ask.
There's been a total method to my.
Let me
madness.
ask you this: out of Washington and Williams, Rosemary, Minnesota, and Altmaier, Illinois, would you be surprised if Dylan passed any of those three guys?
No.
Probably two more than the third.
He has the most talent.
Absolutely, but probably Williams and Brosmer more than Altmaier in Illinois, just because we're so comfortable with what Altmaier does with Illinois.
Yeah.
So if he passed two of those three, we don't even blink.
Nope.
You think they easily could be not easily? You think they could be ahead of him because of what's asked of them?
Mm-hmm.
But you passed Williams and Brosmer, we don't even blink an eye.
But do you know how
if he passes Altmaier, we'll
I'm
sit up a
with you.
little bit.
I'm with you,
right?
but do you know how I built the discussion though?
How's that?
Because we started with the quarterback play, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why are we doing this exercise with records? Because it gives a framework to the words that we're saying about the quarterback.
Yeah, for what it actually looks like.
Yeah.
So that's why when I say I think
Does that make sense?
100%.
Like
But that's when I say, okay, I think Nebraska can finish fourth. I look at, and then let's say Indiana, because they finished above Nebraska last year in second.
And
but,
you don't have to be married to where Nebraska finishes, even though I know where you think they're going to finish.
Yeah, I mean, it might end up
because we still have to slot it.
It might be a little different based on schedule and how that ends up working out. But just in my head, I think, okay, I think they're the fourth best team, or certainly can be the fourth best team. But let's look at, I mean, even teams ahead of them, right?
Are we going back to 2024?
Yeah.
Okay.
So teams ahead of them that were ahead of them in 2024, but I'm going to talk about their quarterback situation this year. Raiola or Mendoza?
I don't know.
So that's really close, right?
Yeah,
I think
I like them. I think of them both in the same vein
of what's going to be asked of them and talent level,
and who they're receiving instruction from.
Sure. So I think that's.
I think of them in a very similar light.
But it's not like Indiana's clearly still ahead of Nebraska in that.
I don't think there's anything clear about it.
Let's even go Oregon. Do you like more than you like?
I'm not. Everybody likes.
I'm not a more guy.
Everybody likes more than I do.
I'm not a more guy.
So
that's my point here. Is if we're gonna start with the quarterbacks, Nebraska starts pretty good.
Clearly,
right? You know,
but
what I mean?
that's why I like Nebraska.
But so that's when I say that's why I don't feel crazy when I say I think they can get to fourth.
It's not crazy. What's crazy is the amount of room they got to move, the amount of furniture they have to move in the room.
Absolutely.
That's what we're being very dismissive about.
It's
you have to move a significant amount of furniture.
I don't think we're being dismissive.
Who's we?
Well, me. I don't think I'm being dismissive. It's not any further than Illinois or Indiana jump last year.
Yeah. You know who would be really good at this exercise?
Who's that?
Sam. And everybody's capable, but this is how Sam thinks of it.
Sure.
Everybody.
Yeah. In terms of who you got to pass.
Yep. He thinks about it naturally. Because when you start doing this, it gets difficult in a hurry.
Because I mean, if we're starting with quarterbacks, I get Nebraska to 6 without even breathing heavy.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
I get it. Listen, preach.
And then I'm here, and I'm the guy that
so do a lot of people that rank the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. And I'm not trying to protect Dylan and saying, well, we just because we think of him this way, it should be this easy, but it's really not.
No, it's not.
What I'm saying is a lot more goes into it than just he's got to be, he got to be better than this guy, right? So, and Shafe probably said it best a handful of weeks ago when he said, all right, he was going to kind of play in this exercise. I've since expanded the whole exercise in terms of getting to the end game. But he started out with the best supposition of the bunch.
What's that?
It's Dylan against Dylan.
Yeah. Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
So here's a few reasons I'm encouraged and not just saying like, oh, it's just that easy. Number one, how many deep dives did I do on those true freshman quarterback stats?
We've done some work now.
He was pretty in line with all those stats, and almost all those guys ended up being really good.
I get you.
Right? So I feel like there's historical context for him taking that jump as a sophomore. Number two, I'm listening to what the coaching staff's saying about that guy.
Hey, is this right?
Yes.
What happened?
What happened? Russell Wilson's got to go. So number one, I'm looking at historical context of true freshmen to the next year. I feel good there. I'm listening to what the coaching staff tells me about Dylan. I feel good there. I'm looking with my eyeballs about what I saw when Dana Holgerson took over and early in the season when Dylan looked like a dude. And I feel good there. I'm looking at the overall talent and the way people feel about Dylan as an overall talent at quarterback and the context of what Nebraska's had at quarterback in the past, which is not having a first-round guy basically ever. I feel really good about that. So that's where I can sit here and feel confident about what I'm saying about Dylan and not at the same time understand that it's not easy.
Yeah.
Right? But there's a lot of things
This is going to be fascinating
that are lining up. And here's the other thing is we start with quarterback, but and I'm kind of out on an island here on this to a certain extent.
All right, Gilligan.
You know that I'm going Gilligan here on the defensive line where I think they can just be I think they can be menaces. I think that's a defensive line that can really ruin people's day. And I look at it, and I'm the only one sitting here, for the most part, talking about the defensive line that way because everybody else is worried about losing Ty, and rightfully so. They're not going to play the same way. I think they're going to be menaces.
Okay.
And so I sit here, and I look at the defensive line, and I sit there, and I look at Donnie Raiola on the offensive line. I go, he's going to put out another good offensive line. I can promise you that. So
we have a couple of more guests tomorrow. Do you want to do the last two non-cons before we get into – or the
non-schedule? Teams not on Nebraska's schedule?
It's just Rutgers and Wisconsin.
Yeah, we can do those tomorrow.
I think you'll be fascinated.
I'm just saying, if I'm starting with quarterback and the lines –
because you realize both those teams finishing from last year's standings.
Mm-hmm. Ahead of Nebraska.
No, Wisconsin was
Rutgers,
tied with
Rutgers
Nebraska,
was, yeah.
But Nebraska beat them head-to-head.
I'm just saying. You give me a quarterback and both sides of the line, I'm going to feel pretty good.
All right.
That's DB. I'm Ravi. We'll be back tomorrow. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.